Hi guys, it's your boy Timo Too Good, but you already knew that it's officially that time. We're on the 29th of March right now, and this is yet another episode of the Too Good cast. I am joined here by my not so much co-host this time around. I feel like I'm the co-host. They're taking over today. We are with Little Piglet and Static Wars. How we doing, people?
Good. What are you telling me, guys?
I'm doing all right. Bit under the weather, but we're here. Got to talk about. We got to talk about one of the greatest tournaments that I've seen in my COD history.
This is up there.
This is up there. Yeah. I couldn't miss this for the world.
Hey man,
they put their foot in that.
I'm dead. Nah, so I think it goes without saying that it has been a while since our last episode. I will say that has been more so on my end. We are working with a few technical difficulties, but I'm pretty sure we should be, set for, I say the foreseeable future. If you guys are new to the Too Good cast, I'd advise you click that subscribe button because we're about to get into something a little crazy. We're doing all things Warzone, CDL, and not so much zombies, but just all things Call of Duty at the moment. So I advise you guys, lock in and follow on the Too Good cast Twitter page as well, where we are active as hell, thanks to Miss Little Piglet. But more importantly, guys, I know we normally we are very much Warzone orientated to begin with most of the time here. That won't be the case. If anything, Warzone might actually be very minimal today because we have got more talking points in regards to the CDL Major 2 and more importantly the Aftermath. I know these guys are jumping at a bit. We're looking to get this one recorded as soon as possible, but a lot of stuff went down, a lot of crazy plays, a lot of drama, which we'll get down to later on in the episode. But I'm gonna leave it in the hands of both Piggy and Warren here, and take it away, people.
Well, I just want to start off by saying congratulations to Atlanta Faze. Finally broke this second place curse.
Anyway,
played formidable throughout the weekend, and also I'm sure we'll have a tweet somewhere here. But me and Piggy had an interaction, and I said to her, I feel it this time. Faze are gonna do it. And she was like, well, we'll see. So yeah, I had a hunch due to the way they were playing. So yeah. Again, congrats, Faze. Hopefully now you can remain consistent in being at the top.
Yeah.
What's your take, Piggy?
For me, obviously I want OpTic to win a comment now. And it felt like it was written in the stars. But I did say like Faze, if OpTic don't win, Faze have to win because I'll be vexed. Because the way they've been playing, I'm like, you have to win with the form that you're in right now. Because if it's another second place, I physically don't know what you need to do. Like, because you can't. It's not a talent thing. It's not a teamwork thing. You just keep missing out. Like you just keep like.
What are you saying? Lack of ice.
Yeah, it was looking like they had a lack of ice, which is not like things.
I would agree.
Them winning for me was just like it was a matter of time, and it's like okay, well, if OpTic aren't there yet, I can accept Faze winning. If it was Subliners or Toronto there, I don't know how I would feel about that. But I'm cool. I'm cool with Faze winning, especially the way they did. Like they deserve that shit. I'm not gonna. They deserve that.
I think it goes without saying. Obviously, our pick teams, our teams, or our main teams obviously made it to the final, obviously with OpTic and Faze, but our actual, drafted teams and the teams that we picked at the start of qualifiers, they met a heavy demise. I can't say it was hard fought. I think it was very much writing on the wall. Listen, look, I don't like looking at season standings at all, like if ever, because I don't feel like it's an honest reflection of what I'm able to watch from time to time. But I mean, Boston, Miami, and Seattle. Hey man,
I'm actually glad you brought them up, because there's a lot of series. Okay, it was 4 days worth of games. We are not going through every game individually.
No.
That would take us too long.
Yep.
But I do think a good starting point is to briefly talk about our teams that we picked to hopefully do well this season. So Boston Breach, Seattle Surge, and Miami Heretics, all of which did not have the greatest tournament.
No.
That's all.
Nope.
Would you like to remind everybody, Warren, what place each of those teams came?
Oh dear.
Listen,
Or even not.
I can't remember too tough the rankings, but what I do know.
series. Did any of them?
Well,
Like Heretics got double bopped out. I know that.
Yeah, they
I
got
don't
6-0'd
remember.
basically. They didn't win a single map, which is,
That's crazy.
if I remember correctly, I remember Piggy was definitely bigging up Miami from like Black Ops days, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. New establishment or franchise. All right, let's see if they're gonna cook. And obviously, the first, I think, Major 1 qualifiers, they looked like they were, you know, really up for it. And then as now it's progressed, they're getting worse. And I don't know, like it's a bit strange to me because, you know, I trusted Piggy's like knowledge on Miami, and obviously we saw how good they were playing. Whereas seeing is it Journey that got dropped?
So Journey, he was on the team. I believe he got benched, and then they fully released him. So he didn't play this major.
Yeah, there seems to be like some
they got issues, man.
Yeah. Let's just say issues. I can't find
can't find the right term. Yeah. No,
this is a deeper problem than just in game. I think they're just restructuring at this point because I don't know what's going on with them. I feel like all of those players are really good players. Like it's not like individually they're bad players. They're really not. And they have found success before. They just can't get it going as a squad. Like there's something wrong. Like Vikul has been the only consistent player in that team, in my opinion. Like he hasn't fully dropped off. Metals is great one match, and then he's terrible the next match. Eric Boone just got boomed out of there. Like he didn't do anything. Like he came back and it was like, so what have you learned? Nothing.
Nothing.
And then you got Lucky, who was also a bit of a floppy one as well. Lucky played all right, but it's like as together they're just not working. They're just not working.
I think,
and it's not a one-person change.
Yeah.
It seems like the cohesion definitely needs to have some work because they're all good players. Like they're not like rubbish. It's not like you don't deserve to be in the CDL. You don't. It's not like you don't deserve to be considered a professional Call of Duty player. But the one thing I know that's so critical in 4v4s is the team cohesion and team chemistry. You know, because like look at Faze against Gorillas, for example, nearly reverse swept them in the qualifiers.
Yep.
But you know, Gorillas iced up towards the end. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's the kind of standard you've got to, you know, showcase. I do. Do you know what it is? I do feel sorry for Miami, you know, because considering how great Major 2 was, I would have liked to see more like, you know, pound for pound matches. Yeah,
a lot more fight from them. At least,
but there was no fight, and I can't help but feel sorry for them. You know, I don't know if it's because like, you know, the language barrier thing, or or some of these players have been in the league. Like I'm talking, like orgs outside of Miami. Like, like they might have been just, you know, cemented. They know what it's like to play on LAN. They're familiar with themselves. So I don't know whether they had like the jitters before going into LAN or whatnot. I don't know what it could be, but I hope Miami can. For Piggy's sake, I hope Miami can pick it up.
Piggy's sake, I think for the league's sake, to an extent.
I'm just worried because it is sad because like if they won a match and they had a post-match interview, like maybe we could hear their thoughts. But like I feel like we can't hear like what the comms are like in the listenings because it is all in Spanish, which is actually fine. I love that. Like I love there's a culture of the league finally. But it's hard as a fan or as somebody who's backing them to feel connected to it because there's no. I don't know if any of them stream. I don't really see them tweet that much. I don't hear any post-match interviews. So I'm just like, none of us actually know what's really going on with you. I think there was a YouTube like documentary thing where they explained what they were doing with Eric Boom. Like he didn't feel ready to begin with. And then he kind of played in challenges for a bit. And he came back, and so it was kind of meant to be like he's come back after going to challenges and hopefully find some consistency. And he came back and he didn't do anything. So it's like. Yeah. I feel like they just need to completely restructure what they're doing on there and focus on one player, whether that's Vikul or Lucky. I think one of those two players.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would agree. Lucky.
I trust a bit more into just because he's been in the CDL a lot longer. Yeah. More consistently.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Vikul speaks both Spanish and English.
Like, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Fluent. So it might be easy to build around them, but I mean, Lucky is a good argument too because he dropped to 1.1. He's the only one that went positive. He dropped to 1.1. Vic got a 0.98.
Yep.
But during the tournament, but yeah. Apart from that, I'd blow up.
She said, "But okay." The way I look at it is, and I also think it's a thing where we've spoken about their experience prior to this. I guess this year. I would say this Call of Duty year, but I also think it's a thing where a lot has changed since they last featured in a tournament. I guess in this kind of tournament. So it's definitely a learning experience for that team. I'm pretty sure they'll take a lot of lessons from what obviously transpired over the two majors. Hopefully that's something that they look for, and you know, I don't want to say the term better luck next year, but that tends to be what the common theme about the teams we're discussing at the moment anyway. I know I want to move swiftly on to Seattle, because that one there, I know Warren's not happy about that, but you see that one there.
Right. You're absolutely right, bro. I'm not happy because I really back Seattle as this redemption team. You know, every player, Huke, Illy, RCEs, and Abuser.
Yep.
Like, that was the redemption team. They all, like, if I was in their shoes, it's like, right, this is my opportunity to prove myself, not just like as a player, but prove myself on this team. But then that team's been nuked. Like, the only player from the original roster is what, Abuser and Huke. Because I know they're making changes now. But anyway,
yeah.
Before we go into like the roster side of things,
yeah, we'll talk about it later. But he's right. Last two standing.
Seattle, I don't know, man. Like, do you know what it is? I just hope that they make champs. I hope that this will be a good arc for them, because you've been first, like Major 1, Major 2. You know, you've performed unsatisfactory. Yeah, as in you've performed below average, right? So this now it will be a good representation of like improving and making champs, because I'm sure every team here, their goals are set on champs. You know, I think some of the smaller teams, they want to compete and obviously be amongst the best, but I feel like the smaller teams probably just want to focus on making it to champs,
right?
And then really show out, because I don't know I don't know if you guys would agree with this take, but if you are considered like one of the smaller teams, you know, like the Carolina Ravens, the Vegas Legions, or whatever, the Los Angeles Thieves, I think it's a bit wild to think that you could probably, maybe not wild, but to think that you could win a major with the form that Subliners has been on, Ultra, OpTic, Faze. Like, think about it. OpTic have beaten every single team in the league, barring Faze. Like, that's scary. And I mean scary in both a positive manner and a negative manner. But Seattle, I don't have much of it to take with Seattle, because I'm just so disappointed. You know, I would rather them go through turmoil with the roster that they had instead of now switching and changing things. Because I have a feeling now with these changes, they're gonna get worse. That's what I think anyway. So
I mean, they are not looking good. They're 10th right now for CDO points, right? Because it's like you said, like the smaller teams, they just need to make it to champs, because as hard as it might be to win, people always say once you get to champs, anything can happen.
Exactly.
If a team just plays the best COD they've played that year over 2-3 days, that's a champs trophy and win. Yes. And you could have been terrible like throughout the season. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So everyone's like, they just need to make it there. That's one of the reasons why like the heartbreaking things with Clay. So like every time he's like right on the cusp of these like smaller, like less talented teams, and then you just won't make it. So right now, like Surge is on the chopping block. Like they're bottom 4 of the cutoff. They need to make up some CDO points. Like, and playoffs, it's just not enough. You can't just rely on the qualifier matches to get your points, because look at FaZe have 295. Look at the gap.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, like, and you look at it from even a perspective of the teams that they are losing to, like, and it's not close. Like, it's not some of these games have not been close. Like, they are genuinely like a good 30, 40 points above you. And I don't know, like, I just look at, like, I know we've obviously spoken about this in previous podcasts, but like that Ellie situation for me is just, I think that's just that nuked that team, because if you even look at Ellie's stats throughout qualifiers and even that first major, bro, like he was literally the glue to that team. Like no one else was, I don't believe anybody else was on a positive KD throughout any of the other modes. I think Illy's hard point was spot on, S&D was spot on, maybe Abuser and RCEs did well there.
Last 5 maps.
Yeah.
Illy's the only person
that has a positive
positive KD. And he didn't play once.
He didn't play. Yeah.
And half of the qualifiers. So like that's the story. Like He's been consistent with
He's
playing.
literally your star player is not playing. I'm sorry, but that at this level,
I don't understand. Like, do you know what? I wish like the Orc could probably shed more light on the situation. They probably won't for professional reasons.
Yeah,
but,
I get it.
You know, as a supporter of Surge for this season, I would have liked to hear more about why they dropped Illy, because dropping Illy is like, like what you lot, like Timo said, you're dropping your star player. That's not normal. Like that's a very bold move to make, and you haven't even improved after that. Do you know what I mean? So
I think and not even to
still see him play. Like, apparently he's still getting ready. Like he's not completely disappeared. He isn't tweeting or anything, but apparently he's still playing Call of Duty. Like he's still on the game. So
I think like
I don't know.
I know obviously they brought in ABEZY to kind of compensate for that, but like if we're looking at it across the last qualifier and this major performance, I don't think he's even up to par with the rest of the teammates. I just feel like there might be like there's definitely a block there that's not allowing them to perform as high as they probably expect to. But I think if I'm being completely honest, the early situations probably just put Seattle in a very difficult position for one, and obviously they're literally now on the outside looking in. And if you're a Seattle fan, you're worried. You definitely want to see your team be able to perform better. I just feel like even if you have like sparks, if you have your moments, like there's an element of momentum that can be carried from game to game, and they don't even have that at this moment in time. So that's why it's very concerning, at least from my perspective. But yeah, no.
Like the majority of like the CDL community probably feels the exact same way, because on paper, I would actually think that the original Surge team could go pound for pound against some of the top teams. Of course, like
it did
on paper. That like some would say, oh no, sometimes it still would destroy Surge or Faze. Still like okay, I'm not disputing that, but at least it's more of a pound for pound matchup.
Yeah, it's competitive. Yeah, no facts. And obviously we can move over to Boston, which I probably didn't want to do so quickly.
Is that why you left it lost?
Yeah. I mean, look, I feel like it's the element of flattering to deceive. I just feel like you want to get behind them as much as I have, and you're then left, high and dry when things are just not going so well. I mean, if I had to look at individual performances, I could probably speak on behalf of Priester and Snoopy and say you guys did great. I don't think Slasher played terribly either. But I mean, we're in a position where two or three players, you need your fourth to carry the load. Then if they're not able to do so, you can clearly see how quickly things can be. And
I heard because obviously roster mania is like going on right now. I'm hearing that some Breach fans want Snoopy to be substituted because he needs to improve his game sense. But then my argument to that, or response to that, is, but he will adopt better game sense amongst the vets, the Asims, the Slashers, the Priesters. Like if you drop down to challengers, his progress is not going to be as efficient in challengers, playing with people his skill level, or he's probably better than compared to
people that obviously have the experience.
I personally don't agree with Snoopy being subbed.
I don't agree with that either. I think that only works if you have time. Like this is,
and you do not have time.
There's 2 more majors and then champs. There's no time anymore, right? And I think it also only works if like you have a very clear substitute that is either just as good or better. I don't think there's a clear person to replace him with that's going to be just as good or better. Like,
I agree.
So it's very risky, and I agree. Like the people around you are nurturing you. Like I don't think Snoopy has been playing terribly, in my opinion.
No, I don't. Yeah,
it just hasn't been the same. But none of them have been the same.
They think that his decision making is a bit like I don't know. Why did you make that play? Like when people like to say brain dead plays, but the thing is, like Snoopy is that player though. How Shotsy said in his interview in the qualifiers that you just got to be a problem for the other team.
Yeah, and
that's what I think Snoopy's playstyle is.
Like people said it about Shotsy, which we'll talk about today as well.
Yeah.
But that type of role is hard because if you can make the same play 20 times and if it works 18 times, people are like, oh, that's
they're gonna go with it, and you're better. Yeah. They're
18
against you.
times, it's like, oh yeah, that's a brain dead play. It's not
you
about
get criticised heavily.
High risk versus high reward, unfortunately, with that role.
That Hoot plays, right? Everyone's like, Hoot plays too risky, but when he's winning his gunfights, no one's cussing the play.
Yeah.
And someone else is just more on fire that day. The play is not wrong. It's just somebody else who's cutting him off or also rotating when he is. It's just winning the gunfight. So like, it's just in that map at that time. They just weren't winning the gunfights. I literally feel that's what Snoopy's dealing with now. It's just like the other SMGs right now are on point. Like they are winning their ones. So when you go up against Hydra and flipping Kismet and they're on point, we meant to Hydra just a 1.2 that series. What you meant to do? Like,
it's true.
Allow him. Like, you gotta allow him. Like,
I mean, I think if you
this is only his second season as well. Like, I don't know what the community do. Like you know, like in football, for example, some fans give a player like a max of 2 seasons until they start really criticizing the player. I don't know how it works in Call of Duty, but give the kid some time, man. Give the kid time. Like, he's young. Great. I think he's a future prodigy for the CDL as well. So like when like other players like retire and stuff, he can, you know,
right. It's like he just he just got his sub duo is new to the team. Like they just got ASIM. It's hard to build chemistry straight away when you just pick up a player. Like as good as ASIM is, they still have to build that. So like he's just adjusting, you know. I
think Boston. I don't think Boston have anything to worry about. I mean, if they feel disheartened about their run in Major 2, don't, because I see the potential.
Yeah, I see the progress
Boston have.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You guys, like for example, you beat Subliners in a hard point, 250 to 125.
Yeah,
like, that's a whole like. What 125 points or some shit.
And you also got to think, like, I don't even think hardpoint is their issue, to be completely honest. If you look at Major 2, they did pretty well on both hardpoints. Pretty much all hardpoints. They played bar maybe another one against Subliners, but against Minnesota they beat them both. And if you even look at the KDs across the board for the team, they know how to play. They know what they're doing. It's just a matter of the higher level.
It's the S&D.
So
it is the S&D. The S&D is.
It's the S&D. They're winning these maps. Like, they're winning these games.
Yeah.
Their control needs work as well.
Their control definitely needs work.
To not win a control round in 2 different matches is a bit concerning.
That's
I think
offense and defense, you're not
you're not
doing it.
You're not pulling your weight as a team. You're not pulling your weight. It's not even individuals. It's just as a team, you're not pulling your weight.
It's just me, but I feel like teams that struggle in control or struggle in search usually struggle in both. Like, if you're a good hardpoint team, you're a good hardpoint team. But I feel like when there's issues in like search, control suffers a little bit too. I don't know if it's like what it is. There's 2 sides, defend, attack. I don't know if it's that type of
mindset,
like flow in game.
Yeah.
But there's usually a disparity with those 2, and the hardpoint can be lights out, but then the other 2 can still be terrible. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't feel like it's the same the other way around. If you're good in control, it doesn't mean you're good in hardpoint. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't even worry too much about their control, because if you're frying your respawns and you're winning your S&Ds, control might just be that one match where you win 3-1 because they won the control. Like, you can live with that, but you can't live with, oh yeah, they won 3-1, but we can't win a search and we can't win a control. Like, that's majority of your map set. Like, you can't.
No, I agree.
You can't lose those. So if they just fix their I think they start with a search. Fix their search. I don't understand how they're bad at search when you have Slasher and Priester, who are 2 very good search players, and ASIB, who's an incredible search player as well. I don't know how you're even bad at search with this lineup. I don't. But maybe
isn't this their first LAN together though?
Guys, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Continue.
Yeah, this is their first LAN together.
Yeah,
so like,
also as a 4,
So I would, for those that are Breach fans, hardcore Breach fans, you know, cut them a little bit of slack, you know, because like you're formidable at HP. It's just a bit concerning how you can lose us like searches so like by a large like deficit.
It's not close.
But out of the 3 that we've just discussed, Miami, Surge, and Boston Breach, I'm probably more confident that Boston Breach could probably climb up their rankings and make champs, because they look jailed, but they obviously just need more work, which is, you know, not the end of the world.
If I had to pick one of them to make champs, if only one of them could, it would be Boston right now.
It would be Boston, 100%.
Even though they're 12th currently. But long way to climb. But I think they can. I just think I need them to not make any more roster changes because I don't think it's a player thing.
No, it's not a player thing in my opinion.
Yeah, they just need to get it together. But
I
mean, those are the 3 teams we picked. So hopefully do well this season, and they are currently not doing great after Major 2. Mine being the worst, 0-12 map count for Heretics is not a good look.
Yeah, that is wow,
shocking. But yeah, we're hoping some consistency follows in Major 3 qualifiers. Like these next 4 to 5 weeks are very crucial. Not in terms of I'm not really looking for these teams to just start performing amazingly, going 6-0 or 6-1 or 5-2, for qualifiers. I'm looking for improvement. I just want to see improvement across those 3 teams because you don't need to peak yet. You don't need to start beating the top 4 just yet. You just need to show that you're actually getting better and you're learning from your mistakes and you're widening your map pool and actually finding consistency over all your game modes so you give yourself an actual fair chance against every team. Because right now, it's not looking like that. So
it's not looking good at all.
That's the hopes. That is the hopes. But
yeah,
obviously a lot happened this major. A lot of exciting things, a lot of shocking things. I just want to go with something simple and talk about our favorite series, if we have one. Kind of hard to pick. So many bangers, but
yeah, I think I know my favorite series.
What's your favorite series?
My favorite series would have to be not the grand finals, but the winners final. That hard point was serious. I've got it written down. Favorite series, winners, finals, Faze vs OpTic. Not grand finals, winners. Not the grands. Yeah.
How was that your favorite series? What?
Do you know what? It was the hard point. When I looked at the clock and then I saw that OpTic was slowly attempting to bring it back, I was like, okay, Faze, this is squeaky bum time now. Are you going to be able to tee up here or what's going on? So when I'm seeing back and forth gunfights, I'm like, this is entertainment. This is CDL, But what solidified that as my favorite series was that hard point. It was I haven't seen many hard points where the time literally
was a factor, all the way down. Right?
Yeah.
And it has happened more than once with them, where the timer was pushing them to have to make certain plays, or else it's we're gonna lose, not because the other team reached 250, but because time's about to run out.
Exactly. It was do you know what? It's interesting when so it was, I believe, P2. It was the P2 to P3, right? Yeah. P2 is by the tractor where B-bomb is, and P3 is obviously by the bathroom, the toilets on the far opposite side of the map.
Yeah.
That bit was just so even talking about it now gives me goosebumps because Faze was still trying to put pressure on the point, and obviously OpTic have to fight at the new hill as well as ensure that they stop the time on the old hill. So that to me was just epic. And do you know what? I'm there talking about the HP, right? But Piggy, talk to me about that S&D terminal. Because
I can't lie, it was do you know what I wrote in my notes? Oh my god, do you know what I wrote in my notes? You're gonna laugh at me, and I've still got it here now. And I'm gonna see if I can take a screenshot and put on the screen. I wrote notes for every series, every map, every series, every matchup. For the winners finals, I put down your phone. This is epic. That's what I wrote. Put down your phone. This is just enjoy. I just said, okay, cool. Let me just watch because I couldn't. If I took my eyes off the screen, I've missed someone putting on a highlight reel. Literally, that S&D was okay, so someone that hasn't seen Call of Duty was the best of the best that you're ever gonna get on an S&D map. Just play them in the winners final with S&D for Faze and OpTic. Every round, we got Kenny clutching, we got Cell clutching, we got flipping Sip going off, we got Pred clutching. It's just
this Faze OpTic is just goes to show that it's actually what am I trying to say? It's the rivalry just brings out the best in everybody, Even Dashi's reaction to losing gunfights, even he clutched up a couple times. But I love the player reactions because it means so much to them. As much as they are friends, but when they're on that stage and it's time to play, there's no friends.
Yeah, they're competitors at that point.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how much of this I've missed. Obviously, I was gone for quite a while. Apparently, I'll explain what happened later. But it's nutty. Anyway, where were we before? I
asked Warren what his favorite series was.
Okay.
Mine, the winners finals versus OpTic.
Okay.
we're just talking about like that S&Ds like specifically as well, like being a highlight reel. Because like here I got there was a 1v1 win for Dashi against Cell. There was a I think another 1v1 with Kenny and Cell, and then there was another like clutch that Cell got off, and like there was so many clutches. Like literally my clips just say clutch 1v1 1v1. There was so many 1v1s. We got Cell shooting bodies, like it's
showing some love.
It's just going off. Like it just felt like two teams that love COD and want to win, like like so bad, and they were just doing everything they needed to, and it ended 6-5 to OpTic, which like I've had to wipe this off my forehead. Because, you know, it was scary. I'm not gonna lie, but it was just this whole series was just as close as you can flip and get, in my opinion. Even like the 3-1 on the control, like the actual individual rounds were close as hell. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful series.
It was amazing Call of Duty, and like I'm gonna put this out there. I have never watched every single game of a major ever. Like obviously I was tapped in with Cold War and Vanguard and whatnot, but I haven't. There were some games where I was just like, okay, I know the results here. I'm here to see the big teams. But Major 2 really, really exceeded expectations. Because every match was a banger. Even the 3-0s and stuff, banger matches. Yeah, man, incredible major. So far at the moment, I would say like Major 2 for me is Modern Warfare 3 Major 2 up there.
Yeah, this particular major, it might be a top 5. Might be a top 5 in the CDO right now. We've had what, like 4 or 5 years.
Yep,
it was amazing.
It was a serious major. Like there was no dull moments in that.
Just here to play, man. Did you have a favorite series at all?
I'm having a tough time picking because obviously I didn't watch everything, but obviously when Boston suffered their fate, I was pretty much locked in on most things OpTic. I really did like the OpTic Subliners game. That series was quite fun to watch, especially with regards into how they both were going at it on Search and Destroy. But I think the only other one I can really think of was probably OpTic Toronto. I know that was a 3-1 as well. Again, that was something fun to watch. Am I right? Is it 3-1?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
You just reminded me that OpTic really just beat 3 of the 4 top teams.
Yeah, so
2 of the 3. So that's
2 of the 3, yeah. So like I know Warren said it earlier in regards to OpTic pretty much beating every team bar Faze. So like I guess this was almost like I know how Major 1 went, and I was expecting to see a bit more progress, and I saw a lot more progress. I thought I'd see more from Toronto in a sense, but I don't think I didn't think OpTic would effectively have such a, I wouldn't say easy. I wouldn't call it easy. I feel like they still had to work hard.
Yeah,
it was probably a lot less of what. Yeah,
S&D weren't
close. They weren't close. Yeah,
the S&D was not close, and I feel like Toronto's a really good S&D team. So to win a 6-2 on an S&D map, not the norm. But
no, not at all.
But
yeah,
any series OpTic was involved in.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think
turn up for some damn reason.
I think the only other one I would have said would have been the Ravens and the was that Ravens and Legion? Yeah, no, that was hectic. That might have been. Yeah.
About that one as well.
Yeah, that was I think that was the one that I saw majority. Well, I mean, obviously you were tweeting majority of it, but like that was the one that was on my timeline predominantly. If you weren't even a CDL fan, you were watching that game. So it was
hype around that match.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
2 teams that looked like they were getting better.
Yeah.
So you're just like, wait, so which one's actually Loki?
Which one? Yeah, exactly. I think obviously because we were speaking about Clayster, and we were speaking a lot about how the progress of Paris Legion as well were leading up to those games. So like seeing how they put up against each other, it's almost like I guess a credit to where they were in Major 1 and how far they've effectively gotten since. But yeah, no, for sure.
There's some banging series. If anyone's watching that didn't actually see them, definitely go back and watch those ones.
Please do, because I know I'm going to be watching a few games I didn't watch. I can't lie.
There's definitely replay value in those matches.
Oh, 100%.
100%. There's even a drama in between it as well, like Clay standing up as well. He getting loud.
Who saw Pred staring at Simp in that final? Oh
bro.
my gosh! Do you know what? I got annoyed at that, but I loved it at the same time because it's mind games, isn't it? It's mind games.
Yeah, you have to, man. But those are some dope series.
Yeah.
I also want to know as well.
Yep.
It's kind of hard, because it's kind of hard to pick because it seems like an obvious question and answer. But who was your most impressive team for that major? Because I say it's easy and hard at the same time because you might just pick Faze because they won. But I want to know who actually impressed you, not a team
let's exclude the two in the final then. So let's exclude Texas and Faze.
What team did you see that was raw?
For me personally, I'm gonna say Vegas Legion.
Okay.
Yeah, they popped off. I mean, look here, they lost to Ultra, cool. Then it's time for a regain, but then
it was close.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. The scoreline actually don't represent the match.
5-6, 2-3. Bro, it was
exactly. Close. It was close. Exactly, it was very close. That's why they're probably my most impressive because they pushed the top teams to the limit. Look at that. I even went to round 11. Went to the last map in control. Yeah, Vegas did their thing. Vegas definitely did their thing. They shouldn't be too disappointed because when you look at your results, the positives you can take from that is the fact that you push these teams to the limit. It's not like you got swept under the rug. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they looked at you and said, right, deal with Vegas and then let's move on to face the top dogs. No, you showed that you can hang. Just the scoreline went against them.
They beat Surge as well. I won't say fully comfortably, but it was 3-1. They beat him convincingly, and then they lost a game 5 to Ravens, who was doing some insane things in this particular series. They iced up in a lot of moments, but it was for Legion. I look at that and I just think that's a very, very good tournament run. Some teams went home with no wins. I'm not saying names, but to win to win against Seattle, have a really, really close game with Toronto Ultra, who came 4th and was Major 1 winners. And then to have a close game with Ravens, who are a scrappy team, that they're not a walkover team. Anyone can have trouble with Ravens.
They're definitely the bogey team of the league.
Yeah, and they could have won this series. It's for a lot of these teams, it's a one or two mistakes just costing the map. It's very, very minuscule. So if I'm Legion, I'm hey, we have a case for ourselves right now. I'd be confident that they're making champs personally. If they keep going just at this pace, I'm confident they're
I'd back that as well. As well.
Good team, man. Good team. I think I might jump on that as well. I think Legion's mine too. I was just because going into it, there were a lot of eyes on them.
I was close to saying Thieves, but it's when they got to the losers bracket, it seemed like they capitulated a bit, didn't they?
They did, and they should have.
Because you gave FaZe a crazy game, and then Gorillas, you just kind of capitulated. Do you know what I mean?
It was very disappointing. It almost became one of the biggest letdowns. I think that's what I got here as well. I think Thieves are my biggest letdowns because of how they looked, and then they just switched off. It's you and another team like Paris. I'm sorry, Vegas Legion. I still call them Paris. I feel like I want a French team in the league. But yeah, you were looking like Legion, where everyone was talking about you guys getting better and wanting to see what your limits are, and where I think Legion were up to the task and showed everybody that it's actually, you're not wrong about us. Basically, we are actually real contenders.
Yep.
I think Thieves I don't know. It might have been too soon to talk about them.
Yep, I think so.
Making a run, maybe they're just slightly not ready. But to have a series that close with Faze and then just get dealt with by LAG. I know LAG.
I have a feeling that LAG, out of all the rosters, they have probably a good amount of arrogance with Ghosty and what's his name, Nasty. Kremp as well. I think they all actually believe in each other's ability. That's where the sense of arrogance come from, which is good. It's good to have a little bit of arrogance. That's what I think of Thieves. I think they actually really believe in each other. But I think when they dropped into losers, it was just
died down. They didn't win a single round of control. It was a close S&D. They're a good S&D team though. but they still lost that. The hard point wasn't close. The first hard point wasn't close, and they just lost the. They actually lost 3 maps in a row. Like, it's just wasn't great.
Yeah,
it wasn't great. But wouldn't count them out just yet. Like again,
I wouldn't either. I would definitely have Vegas in my watch list.
Yeah, not facts. And any matchup with them, no matter what team it is, could be a top 4 team. I'm looking at it like, hey, y'all better be careful.
Yeah,
if you mess up, they're coming for you. You know, and like in terms of the points, I think they're 6th overall in the overall CDL point leaderboard. So they're sitting pretty comfy. They just need to make sure they don't have like a really, really bad.
So you guys are. So I'm assuming you guys are both given your most impressive team and your biggest letdowns.
Yeah.
Okay, so Warren's was. Say again.
Well, we both got Legion for most impressive.
Yep, I'd
have
agree.
LAG for biggest letdown just because of like losing to Faze and then just getting beat by LAG like that was just not. Good enough, in my opinion.
It's totally understandable.
They should have won that Faze match. They actually threw. Crazy.
Yeah.
I think yeah. Okay, I can't really disagree with either or. I think I definitely think that the most impressive team for me was definitely Legion. I think just in general their major 2 has been like I wouldn't have expected them to probably be above my team Boston. I do still think there's that question mark again with I know you said with LA Thieves. However, I think that I think also hopefully the next major is able to kind of demonstrate where they're at, because I feel like with the changes that LA Thieves had to make, I wasn't expecting the world of them. Although obviously with the circumstances of how things did transpire, you'd expect them to at least have a bit of ice and hold out, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. I'd probably agree. I'd probably agree that that were the most impressive and the biggest letdown.
You guys have any like individual players that you feel like you looked at like, I expected more from you this major. Like not necessarily the team, but just like specific.
I don't want. Man.
Do you know what? I was gonna say Envoy, but then I found out that his controller was broken. Going into day 2, I think.
Yeah, going into day 2, you had to use another controller. But he said it was a bit different because most players, they break their controller. Well, the controller breaks and they have to use a brand new one that hasn't been broken in. But the one he switched to was one that he actually had used for 10 months. But he just had been using a different one. So it was like kind of threw him off. But at the same time, I'm like,
he had a poor start to one of the matches. Yeah. He was like 0 and he was like 1 and 8 in one game.
That was weird. There was one game. It was the scoreline was so bad. It was like something is wrong at this point, and I think that's probably the one where it was the closest to when the controller thing happened. And mentally, he probably it was just a lot to get through at that point. Yeah. So I fully get that. He gets a little bit of a blight from me, but I think even overall throughout the major and even a little bit throughout qualifiers, I just really haven't been seeing as much from Envoy in this team personally. But I would say that a lot of the kills and plays that he makes does contribute to the win. But it's just I don't see like I think he was potential superstar previously, and now it's like he's just a really good player, like doing his thing. And this major, I think if we got more from him, I don't think Toronto would have got top 4. I think they would have been about probably 3rd or 2nd. But I did put him. It's kind of hard. Like I put him down, but it's with a pinch of salt. It's like I don't really expect him to do that next time.
Yeah, no, neither.
It's a long-term thing. I actually put down Shotzi, and I welcome the smoke. Get out here. I welcome the smoke.
I welcome the smoke.
I do. Because I feel like it's going to come. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people that just see like a player kind of struggle, and I'm automatically like, drop him, get him off the team. It's not one of those things. It's more so, OpTic have a history of doing really well against teams that are not Faze, right? Like any team that's not Faze, OpTic always have a chance. But unfortunately, you cannot statistically always play your worst against a particular team. Like to me, there's no excuse for that, in my opinion. Because the way Shotzi gets worse against Faze, it hurts my head, and I'm like, I don't understand how this particular team you just can't play like yourself. Like I get it, like maybe they're countering you or like they play at a faster pace, but Shotzi's one of those guys on the team where, like, don't wrong, the win is not on his back. Like, everyone has to pull their weight. But for me, if he's gonna be in that superstar conversation, you can't.
He has to do it.
When it's finals and grand finals, you can't play like that. Like, you can't play statistically that bad. Like, there were certain plays he was making, yeah, that was great. Like, but at the same time, it wasn't working enough, and you can't be relying on Pred to just slay against like SIMP and ABEZY, who are both doing their job and they're doing it without costing their team and dying over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have different roles. I understand. Like, Pred is the slayer, Shotzi's the playmaker, but SIMP and ABEZY both have different roles. But you don't see like one of them dropping off that bad in a very important series. Like, you don't see someone go missing like that. SIMP has been quiet before, but he's not been that bad in my opinion. I think Shotzi's getting close because of how good and how hyped he is. He needs to be careful. He might not even care, to be honest. I don't think he cares. But from the outside looking in, he needs to be careful of like being hyped up so much and being looked at as such an important player in the team, and then you have series that are the most important for your win, and you're dropping off. Scamp was not doing that on OpTic. He would get better in those matches. Like, OpTic's whole demeanor is winners finals, grand finals, they turn up a notch. This team cannot be a team where it's the opposite. Winners finals and grand finals, you lot aren't playing like you were playing. You can't do that. Like, you're not gonna win anything if that's how you're acting. You need like think at ABEZY, they went from flipping Thor to Thanos. Like, that's how you're meant to be. If you're gonna be a seasoned, experienced player, and you know the stars in your team, you have to show up when it matters. So like, I can't keep seeing Shotzi have these types of matches. It happened with Huke. There were times where him and Huke weren't playing that well last year, and Huke would get all the flack, and everyone would let Shotzi go under the radar, and now it's happening again.
Well, I mean, like, now he doesn't have. Yeah, I feel like now he doesn't have that cloak of. Oh, and I don't mean this because obviously I think we all love Shotzi. I don't think it's a.
Oh yeah.
It's any way of a slight at him, but I think when like the blame game is now, it's reached its. I guess it's next arc. You can't be in the same position you were in the year before, or especially when you have newer teammates. I mean, Dashley's obviously going to do his own thing, but having both Priester and Kenny effectively ice up in scenarios where you need them to, like, if you are the superstar that people have hyped you up to be, you need to be able to cover all bases. So yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent. I feel like
not that, like, come on, he got second. Like, I'm not.
I'm
not saying this is my team. I love Shotzi. So when I see certain patterns that seem insignificant, because if I said this like 2 years ago, people were like, you're trying rubbish. But
but it's
pattern.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
The important matches, he's never on fire. He's never played, like, that is a problem in my opinion. Amazing all the time, but I'd rather you turn up in grand finals and play a little bit slower in the lead up than the opposite. Because then how are we gonna win? You know. I just want to see him be the best.
I feel like in against Faze, he really got found out because when I was listening to the comms, obviously this is just natural, like this is just basic game sense. But Faze ended up, I think it was a hardpoint Karachi. They killed 3. And they were looking for everybody else, and they were like, Shotzi's in the back, Shotzi's in the back. And it's like, it's not like they knew, but they kind of guessed it, because like, if I've cleared everyone in front of me, where's the last guy? He's got to be flanking. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by like, he's been found out. I think a lot of people have, well, the top teams, I think they've clocked his play style, you know? I don't know if maybe that interview might have, you know, baited out a couple things or whatever, but... I truly believe, and I'm going to stand on this as well, Shotzi really got found out in the matches against Faze, in my opinion. Because he just every time he played them, he just looked nullified. Even the gunfights as well. I'm actually looking at the way the gunfights are happening, and like, they're not shit-ons, but it's just like, dude, like, they're shooting nukes, and it's like, you didn't even get him one shot at least, you know? Like, if you're going toe-to-toe with SIMP and ABEZY, you've got to get them one shot. Like, you've got to. They need to be traded ASAP, no Rocky. You know what I mean?
I just feel like Shotzi's flow state and other people's SMG's flow state are very different. Like,
I would agree with that.
I think the effect it has on overall on the team is just not. Like, I feel like when SIMP plays out of his mind, ABEZY does too. Like, it's like they affect the whole team.
There's a balance.
It's like Shotzi will bail out the team, but in terms of like the overall team dynamic when he's playing like that, they don't actually get better in those moments. It's like Shotzi does something crazy. Oh my god, thanks. And then it's like, oh, next game he's not playing like that, so now we're back to being a little bit rocky. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas SIMP and ABEZY, once they start heating up, I feel like the entire team feeds off the energy, and then they just start going crazy, like, and it continues. For sure, yeah, it's just in small spurts, in my opinion, and it can look so good that people can get like
hyped,
obsessed
yeah,
with how it looks, and he looks so fluid, and like what he was doing at Toronto Ultra Sport, and he was just having his way. Like I think they were like 30 points up. He went back to P1. It was on Karachi, and he just in there spawn flipping on the rooftops, 1, 2, 3, just like sealing the game, literally just sealing it away. Or like even on I forgot who they were playing, but it was on Skid Row Hardpoint, and it was P2. He broke the hill basically by himself, finessed, and played like the ledge. So you know when you look like you're jumping out the window, but you're actually just laying on the ledge. And then he picked up like another kill, got back in there. These are like solo plays that make him look great, but it's like as a team, you can't rely on those moments. You can't do it. Like you're not gonna have any kind of consistency because if you don't do that, you just lost by like 100 points because you don't keep it up. So it's like,
do you think it's the I don't, because obviously I look at it from perspective of if you have a player of that quality, or you know that he has like you, I guess in the way you've spoken about him having those moments, is that more of like an adjustment for the whole team to now compensate for that in order for it to work out? Or do you reckon it's a thing where he needs to now, like, I won't say adapt, because I feel like I feel like adapt is a heavier word. I feel it might be that he needs to just fine tune the areas in his game where he doesn't, like, it's not so much of a sacrifice, or it's not as much of a
I think that's why they got Pred, because like people used to say the same thing about Dashi. Like Dashi would be he used to call him a kill whore, because like everyone else would get kill time and he'll just pop off, but if he's not popping off, the team was losing. But then what they did with Dashi is they got Kenny in to provide a bit more structure, and Dashi took a backseat. And his stats never look great in these series, but I guarantee Dashi's probably the reason why they even got any points, because they couldn't kill. There was a hill kitten, which he doesn't like the name of, but he's a little hill kitten because he's literally like, he's hard OBJ. He went from hard Slayer to hard OBJ. I don't think Shotzi needs to take that route necessarily and just completely slow down. I think it's more perception and reality. Like, as a whole, OpTic fans need to stop looking at Shotzi like he is the superstar of this team. I'm not saying it gets to his head, I don't know if he cares, but the structure of that team is no longer built around Shotzi, and it needs to stop. Like, it has been for years. It needs to stop being built around him, because if you look really at why we did so well in this tournament, it's Kenny and Pred.
Agreed.
Like, it's not Shotzi. His plays work because of what Kenny and Pred have been doing, and Dashi's just got, listen, I got the hill, man. I got the hill. I got the rotation. I'll be, I know you got what you doing. I don't mind. I don't know. Like, he's so focused now. But it's like, I guess I'm a little bit more irritated by like how much shots he gets highlighted when we need to be focusing on the team dynamic instead.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. One player just being the reason why we win or we don't win. It's more so like that.
Okay.
So, and I feel like he just got exposed in this tournament a little bit more. That's the why it's all on him. But yeah, that's again, I say letdowns. Kid got second, Ombre got top 4. Like, kind of picking at straws here, but yeah, I had to put something down.
No, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you.
But yeah, those are like the main points I had.
Okay.
For some of these players, but overall, I actually think a lot of people just played well. Like, a lot of people played decently.
Yeah, individually, I think a lot of people showed up in Major 2.
Yeah.
100%. I think the only 2 players I can remember that were like having, everyone can have a bad series in the well, not a bad series, but like start off poor in the beginning and then pick it up. But the 2 that I saw, where even the casters mentioned it, it was like, I don't know who, I can't remember which caster it was, but they mentioned that Shotzi was having a very slow start. He was like, he almost was double neg at one point, and then I think it might have been an invasion control. He picked it up. I think
he went later, even like near the end of the game, and then I think he went. I think he went positive at the end of it.
Yeah, he did. I think he did. Yeah,
crazy. I think Envoy did that one map too.
Yeah, that's why I can remember, because it's like sticks with me, is because it's like I'm waiting for you guys to make clutch plays or whatever, but the casters are now telling me that you guys are, you know, slow starts and all that stuff. It's just like,
it hurts the team a lot depending on what player, because it's just like, then that's why I give so much like props to Pred, man, because he has to deal with that. He is like the main slayer in the team, so like you got a lot of pressure on your back when you've got whatever in everyone else's eyes is a superstar, and then you're doing what's quote unquote like I don't know, it's just less glamorous in the sense of like, because if you mess up, people are looking at you like you did something wrong. Whereas your other SMG is trying to make the play of his life, you need to buy him time. So it's like the fact that he's even able to do certain things is because of what Pred is able to do on the front lines, which is what I think he got a lot more praise as well. That's why ABEZY gets a lot more praise nowadays too, because Simp is like Simp does what Shotzi does, in my opinion. ABEZY does what Pred does. So it's like they now get more praise because I think people are now clocking into how important it is to have that duo dynamic where if you can like the flashy plays you're seeing, but understand why it's working. It doesn't work if this person is not doing their job.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like there's a lot of plays like that. Kismet's the same, like Kleenex, like it's just there's bare of them. There's bare SMGs. It's just like you know what, you make this team a well-oiled machine.
I feel that.
Yeah. This one, I got another question on here, but this will also test your memory, unless you wrote it down. But do we have any best plays or worst fails of the series? Anything you saw that was like, yo,
I wouldn't consider it best play, but I was just very impressed with Fellows like ace, because that was the ace to win the series, wasn't it?
Have you got my document?
I'm dead.
Vicky, I was locked in just as much as you. I told you, I watched every single game. You know, I was there. I'll put that as best plays. Yeah. Worst fails, I can't. Did anyone fall off the map?
I got yes, but I don't know who it was. I think it was an S&D.
Yeah, someone fell off the map on purpose. I think it might have been Afro against Faze on high rise. Yeah. But I wouldn't consider that fail. That was intentional.
That was just like okay.
Yeah, I can't remember best fails to be honest, but best play, I'd give it to Fellows still.
Yeah, that is chef's kiss.
You got to remember that's to win around 11, I believe.
Yeah,
like, and to win the series, like that's clutch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it when the casters gas Fellow because they call him felony. Like when they go with the full name, like the whole name, felony. Like it's like, oh shit, he's committed a felony.
I think there's one that you didn't mention, but I know you mentioned it, but just not for best players. But I remember you kept talking about Simp's 13 streak versus OpTic. Like remember you like just raving about it, which was rightfully so. He broke a record with him.
He's break. Do you know that's the second record he's broken this season? He broke a record in qualifiers for like what 40 plus kills or something, or 30. Was it? I'm sure it was 40 plus.
I think it was 40 plus. I thought it was 40 plus.
Simp is having a season.
Oh, I like him as well. Oh, this is why I like it because he took a backseat in Modern Warfare 2. In my opinion, MW2 was a busy show, and Simp just did what he had to do. Simp went, and this is why I say this is what I want Shotzi to start doing with Pred. Sorry, I keep talking about OpTic. It's my team, you know. But yeah, he did what I want Shotzi to do because it's not about like having the whole game on your shoulders and you either make the best play or the worst play while you lose. I don't see Simp like that. He doesn't do anything for no reason. He doesn't risk his team to do something, you know what I'm saying, do something spectacular.
Yeah. Like,
he just does what he needs to do. If ABEZY's going off and he has to pick up something else, he'll do it. Like, he'll play to, like, his teammates' strengths. And when he's going off, everyone's like, we need to put him in the best position when he's going off like this. It's like, it just feels like it's a cog. Like, Faze have some mad cog where whoever's frying, everybody just does their best to support.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Simp going off, I think it reminded everybody, it was like, okay, like he's more of a team player now, but don't forget how cold he is by himself. Like a man could actually just single-handedly win you the game. And it was like, that 13 streak just reminded me, like, Simp is him.
Yeah, he's definitely arguably one of the best players in the league, because I remember that same streak that he went on. Do you remember, I don't know if any of you guys remember, but Hotel, he went on a crazy streak in a hard point. I remember he went catwalk, he went behind them flanking, he was just shooting everyone with that Vaznev. Like, that's what Simp, I don't think it's a wild take, but Simp is the best SMG in the league, in my opinion. Like, he has shown consistently across the different titles how good of a player he is. That is what you call a professional Call of Duty player. Someone that can just play the game, put the hours in, adapt, and then just show up. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simp, you're incredible, dude.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. What else did I have on here? I can't lie, I was very impressed with subliners, wallbang spots and S&D, especially Hydras.
Oh yeah.
That reminded me of this IQ code. Like
that is
I missed that.
an open mouth moment, because when he actually got a kill on,
I think it was Invasion.
when he shot someone off the bomb on Invasion, that was insane because he was so far away, and then
he had to shoot for like
Karachi when he's shooting the ladder. You know the ladder that they go up if you spawn on P3, I believe, HP Karachi.
Yeah.
If you spawn that side, he was shooting, and then the player that was climbing up ended up jumping off, and then obviously he got the kill because you know. But very impressed with those wallbang spots. And do you know what, to actually use them in a match environment and to actually for it to pull off, that's very impressive.
It shows confidence and practice. They definitely have practiced this, and I feel like this is COD. Like players in COD used to do this a lot more back in the day, where it was like people nowadays might call it a bit nerdy or a bit whatever, but this is, like I said, this is IQ COD. Like the maps are meant to be abused in some ways. Like if they put wallbangs in the game, why are you not figuring out wallbang spots? If they put certain jump spots in the game, why is it only players like Hydra, Shotzi, ABEZY, Simp that are actually utilizing jump spots? Like it's shocking to us, but like it's like, wait, hold on, this is actually what COD is about. This is what sets you apart from other teams. So it's like it's nice to see that back in Comp COD. Like it's actually like you know, people are going back to their rank games and they're like, oh, hold on a minute, I don't know a new spot. Like telling their friends, like, I got a new spot for us guys. Like we're actually gonna hit Crimson now. Like stuff like that is really cool. So
and it was actually surprising as well, because I'm so used to like someone like Celium doing these nerdy wallbang spots. You know, Vanguard, he used to do them all the time. So it was actually kind of cool to see that other players are, you know, practicing and showing their plays and stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. This was very heartbreaking. This was also a Carolina versus Subliners match. It was round 11, map 2, S&D. It was 5-5, and Fellow gets a streak, and it's Fellow and Claystar, and I think it's a 2v2 or 2v3, right? And bombs down for Subliners. So Claystar gets a kill. I think it was a 2v3. Claystar gets a kill. Fellow goes into his streak, but the timing of it was so late. They pick up Claystar. Fellow gets the kill anyway, but he literally can't reach the bomb. Like it was a round that was like, you win that if you had 2 more seconds. That's a map 2 win. That's not like a round win. That's you just won map 2 against Subliners. And it was a very close hard point. So it was like, wait, if they win that, and I think they won the control after that. I'm trying to remember, was it a 3 or a 3-1?
Against Subliners, it was a 3-2 on high rise.
That's even worse, bro. Because I'm pretty sure the control was one they should have won as well. So they probably would have went like 2-0 up or 2-1 in the series.
Do you know what I like about Ravens? It's the way they play. They kind of like, they fancy themselves in every match they play. Like that's what it looks like in their play style. Like they proper fancy themselves. Like they don't look timid in any way, shape, or form.
That's a funny way to put it. They fancy themselves. Sorry. It wasn't the hard point that was close. It was the control.
Control. Okay.
Yeah, but they would have pushed it to another hard point, which would have been great. But hey, I put it on the fails just because like it was like, if you just did it a couple seconds earlier.
Yeah, if you have a cruise and you don't get at least one person, like even if you getting that one person doesn't actually affect the game like that, you're just getting a guy down and then still lose. It's a bit of a fail if you ask me. Like that cruise is meant to actually.
Last guy dead.
Yeah,
you saw it.
Advantage.
Literally, the castle were like, "Does he make it? Does he make it? He's got 6 seconds." And he's just running, running, and he doesn't make it. And it's like round 11. That's how you lose. That's how you actually did everything right, apart from the time of the streak.
It's a harsh one. That one.
Yeah, and then I've got another one on here, which is unfortunately, who did this one? It was Nero. Oh, this was also heartbreaking. So basically, it was another round 11. I'm trying to remember the matchup though. I think it was Ravens. This was against. But yeah, round 11. Legion get the bomb down.
Yep.
All they have to do is wait. It's a 4v4. Nero's like, this is on Invasion as well. Nero's just watching the bomb from a door.
Oh, I remember.
He's looking. He's looking. He sees a guy. He gets first blood. Gets back to the door with his life. At this point, it's 4-3. The bomb is down. You don't lose this. You don't have to do anything. But he nails the tank, knows there's another guy there, and he just flies at him and gets killed. And then all of a sudden, gives up life advantage. He had the best position to watch the bomb, so now everyone else has to rotate because they don't have eyes on it, and then they just lose. But it was the best case scenario. It went from like the best play to the worst play. Literally the reason they lost that map. Like, you literally got the winning kill, and then you died and caused your team to lose. It was actually very heartbreaking for them because it was
boy.
You can't do that. Like, you just chill. Like, and it's not the first time he did the play like that, where he just like got a bit overzealous, and just tried to push something he shouldn't have pushed. So, yeah, that was another fail. But it will be interesting to see, like, specifically if people watching, if you watch the matches, like what you guys thought was the best play or the worst fail, because I'm pretty sure there was more.
I mean,
yeah. Do you know what it is though? Yeah, that what you just described is an individual error. It's not like you got outplayed. You know, you just know that when you go back and look at the VOD, you just know what to improve upon next time, which is the individual error, like the individual error. You know? Like it's not like you got fully outplayed or you was watching the bomb, but then you just got absolutely beamed off a head or something. Do you know what I mean? That's when it can come down to like, you know, gun skill or whatever. But it's an individual error. So again, like, he shouldn't be too disheartened about that. Yeah, it is upsetting because it's like you feel like it's your fault, but it's only an individual error.
Yeah, so. It was so, and honestly, the first kill we got was literally like, it was incredible. Like, that's what you want from, you know, your aggressive SMG player. Get out of your life. It's just the other one was too tantalizing. You know, when someone was weak behind the truck, but he didn't know if he was left or right, or he just lost his bearings. He didn't have enough information. But yeah, man, it was unlucky. But yeah, to say all of that, do we have a Major 2 MVP?
Simp.
Yeah, I don't think that one's not even debatable for me, personally.
It's definitely Simp, which is why I also have a part 2 to that. Okay. So we have a Major 2 MVP team. So I imagine all of us got Simp on that team, solidified. Okay. 1 out of 4.
Timo, do you want to take this one first?
Three other players. Entire tournament that you think you played well. You played really lights out for your team. Did a lot.
Lights out for your team.
Did lights out, mate.
Do I pick a Legion player? I feel like I want to go Legion. I don't know.
Well, you've got 1 sub at the moment. Well, you can have 3 ARs if you want.
Could be anyone.
No, but when you say like
2 ARs, but at the same time, if you got 3 subs in there, you got 3 subs in there. Like, sometimes you can't help it.
I don't know.
Who would you have on your team in general? Well, actually, no. We're talking about Major 2. So, from what you've seen, who would you like? Who impressed you? Like that, you would say, yeah.
Actually, subliners. No, not for the MVP team. I feel like.
Okay, yeah, I hear that.
I feel like and especially because I'm looking at it from perspective of like subliners, I feel turn up this major compared to obviously the last one, but like the performance was obviously more respectable, and they've shown they're a top 3 team. So I think I would probably say would I say Hydra? Do I want to put Hydra in there? I'm trying to think of who else would I put in that position? Hydra
didn't make my.
Well, your top 4 teams were Defo, Ultra, Subliners, Faze, and Texas.
Right.
Yeah. Mine top 4, but there's a couple that could be said outside of top 4.
Honorable mentions. Yeah.
Okay. If we're doing honorable mentions, then I can.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's just your
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably have to say Pred. I think I want to have Pred in there.
Yep.
That's somebody that I thought again it will take a while for him to kind of gel. And I mean, based off of the performance I was able to see of this major, he's a glove fit. I think it's just a matter of again, obviously I know we spoke about Shotzi briefly, but I think he played out of his socks. Pred
he played very well this major.
I mean, I don't necessarily have to talk about his HP or his S&D, but they were pretty much spot on. I didn't actually see a fault with his game. More so, I only think when it comes to playing against FaZe, it just seems like there is that element of kryptonite that they need to get rid of. But I think they'll eventually get over it. But yeah, I would say Pred probably gets in there.
It's funny that actually, because Modern Warfare 2 and Vanguard season, they were shitting on FaZe. Like FaZe could have beat them in Modern Warfare 2. So it's funny how the tables have turned.
I don't know what happened, but our Pred's definitely a shot. He almost made mine.
Yeah, Simp Pred. I like that.
Yeah, I got one that's a bit of a
controversial.
I don't think it's controversial. I just feel like he went under the radar because they just didn't do as well as maybe you would think.
Are we going Ultra?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wait.
Okay. Do you know what you did? You just said, right, I'm gonna go in Warren's mines. I'm just gonna see what's going on in here. Yeah, have a little swim. That's what you've done. That's what you've done because yeah, like I agree with Timo, the Simp Pred. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
So okay, after Scrap, then who would you put? And I think I know who you're gonna say.
See, I didn't actually have Pred in mind, but for me, because mine's a bit different.
Okay.
So I had Simp 100%. I had Scrap 100%.
Yeah.
I put ABEZY, but I did want to put Hydra. Like,
See,
I couldn't decide.
I couldn't decide. Yeah.
Because Hydra actually, like, he wasn't at his best, but in the I would say in the games that really mattered, he was the best player on subliners.
Mm-hmm.
Like against all the big teams, he just went nuclear. Like it was because he showed a bit of weakness in my opinion, like in the beginning stages of the tournament, and then I don't know if it gave people like the impression that subliners were just going to be really beatable, but it was like Hydra. He was just playing like he was flipping champs last year. Like he was not missing a beat. He was at one of the hardest kills. He was just floating around the map. He was just back to being Hydra, and I was just like, yeah, he just played like crazy this tournament. Seriously. But I did put ABEZY just because one, I'm a ABEZY fan. Yeah, I'm an ABEZY stan even. Like. But there were just things that he was doing. Like, he got overshadowed because Simp played light, so I got his 13th streak. But ABEZY had multiple streaks that were, like, between 7 and 9 against multiple teams. Like, he just wasn't dying. Like, he was just picking up kills, being the most annoying person on the map. So, I just love how ABEZY plays, and I wanted to give him some limelight. But Hydra's definitely up there. But I actually put Kenny.
I knew it. Called it.
I feel like if you weren't gonna pick one, you were gonna pick the other.
And you know what? Yeah. That is a solid MVP team because mine would have been Simp ABEZY purely because they took over that tournament. Yeah, like they really took over. You know, Hydra is definitely an honorable mention, but you can't ignore the way the Tiny Terrors were moving in Major 2. So it'd be Simp ABEZY. I would definitely put Kenny and Scrap in my ARs, and I think that is my official Major 2 team. That's a formidable team. By the way.
As much as people might dislike Scrappy for chatting rubbish and getting fourth, he put his team on his back throughout. Yes. Kleenex played really well, but Kleenex did not play as well as he's been playing traditionally. He played alright. He played fine. Like nothing wrong with Kleenex. Nothing bad to say about him. But Kleenex has had superstar moments on that team, which would overshadow other people. But when you got an Envoy that's dealing with controller issues and not playing very well, and Kleenex who's just playing like at a balance level, not anything.
Yeah, like just average.
Scrappy went off. Like
he dropped 40 kills in an HP.
Yeah. Just like with any gun, I saw him with a rifle. I saw him with an AR. I saw him floating around. I saw him getting healed. I saw him doing He literally did everything. He was everywhere.
Give me that. It don't matter. It was like, give me that. It don't matter.
That's a shame. Love you know that kid can shoot. He can shoot.
Okay.
Definitely. And I see why that he welcomes the challenge of FaZe. Like I think that just shows some real cojones because a lot of people would say, yeah, like I want to face this person because I'm his dad and all that kind of banter. Yeah. But Scrap really said, I want to face FaZe because they shoot. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it just goes to show his mentality. Like he wants to get better. He wants to play against the best and get better. So I really, really admired that as a Call of Duty athlete.
I think he's a little bit misunderstood. Like,
I mean, majorly.
His trash talk really upsets people, but people got to remember that's the point. Trash talk doesn't mean a thing if nobody's bothered by it. No one cares about like why are you paying attention?
Yeah,
I think because he doesn't discriminate. He'll do it against anyone, but he'll be very vocal if he thinks the team's good. Like he'll be like when he talks about Faze, like he'll still bark at them, but he'll also acknowledge the fact that no, they're cold, they can shoot. Like I wanna beat them because they're like the best team in the game. But he'll also let you know if you're dog shit. He'll let you know if you're trash.
Simply.
I like that energy, and he backs it up. So yeah, Scrappy is growing on me. I think everyone needs to just remember that this is needed in the league. You need somebody who's actually playing out of their mind and can back it up at the same time.
Yep.
Win or lose, like you need someone that will just chat. Really reminds me of Clay Store. It's crazy, but yeah. And then yeah, Kenny, I think is OpTic's one of OpTic's best pickups in the history of OpTic gaming.
Yeah.
In terms of changing the team,
Can't say too much on that.
There's not a lot.
OpTic
It's more. If I think about pickups, there's people like they got 4 more. That was probably one of the best pickups ever. But you think of people like Hoot going on the team. Who else has been picked up? I'm trying to think. TJ Haley, Dashi. They don't really have a lot of new pickups. I'll be real. Pro League, but only because of Illy. Well, Illy, yeah. Illy, Pro League, obviously. Shotzi. I'm thinking about people that come and just fix problems that OpTic have had throughout the years. People will come and play. Like Shotzi is a superstar or a star individually and mechanically, but his playstyle hasn't changed the team. Dashi was a star when he came on the team, but it didn't change the dynamic of the team, which is why they still had issues. Kenny has come on here and he has literally brought the best in every single one of those players. And he's bailed them out so many times. I have lost count at how many times Kenny has just gone off, and it's like people forget this man is insane. He's one of the best flexers in the game, but he didn't come in with that attitude like, oh, I'm gonna be one of the best. He just said, listen, I want to create a culture. I want the best for my teammates. I want us to have a system. I want us to be on the same accord. I want us to have teamwork. He didn't come into this thinking about himself.
Nope.
But he's shown that in games that he can slay out just as much as Draza. Do you know what I'm saying? Just as much as any other flex in the game. That's why I respect him. Like, you don't get
the most
that.
memorable plays were probably that triple nade on terminal and and a triple kill on top Eskies. That guy can shoot.
He's cold. Like, even like stats wise, or just the importance of like holding the amount of times he's held a point just by going off, like, and it's been the reason why they haven't lost or why it was still close. Like, he has done so many hero plays. That I had to put him in there. I had to. I was never really a Kenny fan like that. I'll be real. Like I've said,
neither was I. You know, because do you know what annoyed me? When I first heard about Kenny, obviously I first heard about Kenny during the Vanguard season, and it was just the why. It's like, dude, like, come on, this is not Warzone, bro. Doing all that why, you're gonna get caught. He did get caught. Like, I've seen him why, and then he tries to like react, but you die. Like, I didn't like that at all. Like, it's cool. I can see that you're like somewhat a skillful player. But that jarred me. And then now Modern Warfare 3, you're just showing up. Like, you've literally joined a new roster, or you joined OpTic, and then now you've actually made an impact almost straight away. You know, he's probably the only player I can think of, other than maybe Scrap when he joined Ultra, that has made an impact straight away.
Yes, Scrap is a good one. Ooh.
So,
Roy's on fire today. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the MVP teams. I think that these players have not just for Major 2, but I think these players have played incredibly throughout the whole season so far for NW3. So whether you take into consideration this Miami Major by itself or not, I think it still stands. Like, they're in there. But yeah, overall, just the Major was, as we've all said, it's up there, I think, with one of the best Majors they've had for the past couple of years.
Facts.
Yeah. Every game was a banger.
Yeah, I've never really cared for other teams outside of like top 4 to 6 the way I do now. Like, I'll watch a Carolina Royal Ravens team and actually feel something. I'll watch Legion play and actually feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'll watch Seattle and I'm like, are y'all gonna show me something? Like, you know, I'll actually watch for a reason. Like, I'll watch all these other teams play for a reason. Even the LNG and Rocket series, those are probably the 2 teams I'm least interested in, but I still had a reason to watch them play. Like, it's weird, like, how many storylines are in the CDL right now about like just teams making a turnaround or continuing their dominance or just upsetting teams. All of these things that they've done a really good job this year of just making every team important in some way. Yeah, agreed. To watch.
I think if you're somebody new coming into CDL like myself, that is a major you definitely need to go and watch. I think, considering obviously I've started off watching with Boston, and obviously I know how a major one qualifiers had gone. I think as much as I'm obviously disappointed, but that's me being like a major competitor and me wanting to see the best out of any team that I support. But if I'm looking at it from a progressive standpoint, it's great. It's just must see. Like you don't want to miss a minute of what's going on. I think if you're very much into esports and you're looking to get into Call of Duty esports per se, there's pretty much no better time than now to start watching, especially after what transpired last weekend. So yeah, man, I think Major 2 definitely gave us a lot to think about for our other teams, but more importantly, it's just got people kind of thinking, okay, what's Major 3 gonna present, and effectively how are people gonna now start preparing for championships when obviously the time does arise.
We still got a lot ahead, man.
I know.
I mean, it's only 2 majors and champs.
I know.
But still, you know, we're just getting to the halfway point. Just edging out towards this. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting moving forward.
One sec.
So the next major is just as good, or even better.
It definitely sets up Major 3 nicely.
It does, and that was in Toronto. I think that's a Toronto one.
So they
Toronto
OpTic, when Texas hosts their tourneys and when Ultra hosts, they're probably like in terms of atmosphere, very good. Like, you know, the crowd is loud, especially for Ultra as well. On that side of the country, they are serious Call of Duty fans over there. And obviously OpTic, loud every event. You know, one of the biggest orgs, franchise or gaming franchises in the world. They're always loud. So
can you think like we'll talk about some of the drama and whatnot. I'm sure anyone that's locked into the players on Twitter would have seen it. But what a storyline for Scrap. I mean, he gets top 4, gets corned. He kind of just has to hold all the L's right now. Not getting a placement he'd probably happy with. And then the team that won, you got this guy barking at you every opportunity. And then the next major is at your hometown with your home crowd. What a storyline that would be if they won that one. If he came back,
Ultra Faze is probably going to be the marquee matchup at that major.
Yeah, I hope they make it. I hope they do that. I hope they make that a big thing. Because, I mean, even the whole like Ultra versus OpTic as well, and it's still a thing too. Like him against any of the top 4 teams is just dramatic, and I love it.
Do you know what I like about Scrap as well? He's very mature in regards to like the shit talk, and then it backfires. Like he actually welcomes it. I think he knows exactly when he does the shit talk. He not that he welcomes the repercussions, but like he knows that if he fucks up, excuse the language, then like he knows that he needs to hold the corner, and he's very mature for actually, you know, accepting
holding it.
Yeah. So I admire Scrap a lot. Scrap's grown on me. Of all the newbies in the league, once upon a time they were rookies and now they're like cemented in the league. Scrap has been my favorite.
I feel same, and I don't. I hate. Do you know what? I usually don't like the trash talking stuff. Like I do.
I need it. I love it.
But in COD, no, it's true though, because I say it depends how it's done. Because like, Draws is one. There's an element of it that I don't respect to a certain degree, because I don't think Draza has been the best player in any of his teams. I think to a certain degree, he's not been carried, but like him of all people, sometimes to me, you shouldn't be talking. You know what I'm saying? I hear it. Chatting, but I also don't think the best person is the only person that can chirp either. So it's a bit of like, but the way Scrappy does it, it's just like you can't argue with the kid because he's actually him. So it's like you just can't argue with him. Like, and anyone can get it.
For sure, the next 3 to 5 years, Scrap will become, probably less than that, he'll be up there with being considered one of the best players in the league. 100%. And I do not doubt that at all. Do you know what? I actually see, if not already, but I see Scrap getting an MVP. Do you know, I don't know if they do this, but even if your team doesn't win a major, can you not still get MVP?
No, you won't get MVP. Always be the team that won. I'm excited. I'm just excited for his career because you look at people like historically the trash talkers are people like Aches, who else? Sorry, Aches and Claystar. I feel like are like top 2. Like Aches being like the villain. Like there's always like a villain in COD, and Aches is like the ultimate villain. in Call of Duty, and it just gives me that vibe of like old school COD when everybody was just so in each other's face, and passionate and not afraid to call people out, win or lose. Like sometimes I feel like the new generation, they only really talk if they win. I don't respect that. I'm like, why are you chatting if just when you're winning? Like that doesn't mean anything. But I feel like scrap talks, win, lose, spectating. No, like he doesn't care in a ranked match, in a scrim, in eights. He's just like
he's himself.
Here. They had a clip on the official CDL broadcast. It was scrap at like 11 years old, like playing in a 4v4 online against like these like grown ass teenagers, maybe like 16 to 20 years old. He's 11 and he's barking at them. he's 11 years old. He's a child, but he's playing and he's like, they must have won the series. And he just stood up and looked at them like, and I'm like, this is hit. Like you can't argue with that. That's not put on. That's what you call
personality in the league. Like he's got personality, and I
need
think
those.
You need more characters like him in the league. Maybe not exactly like him, but like we need more personality. We need
personality for sure.
Yeah, more passion, like all of that. Because
I like when Pred got.
I feel like I know some of these players, but I don't know them. Like I know you in terms of like how you play Call of Duty, but outside of that, I want to get to know you. Do you know what I mean?
You know the game, like. What you like even seeing like Pred getting loud here and there, so I'm like, yes, but we need more of that. We haven't really had that on OpTic for a while. Like, get loud, Kismet, like as well, getting loud. Like it's just nice to see. I'm not gonna
but it's kind of embarrassing in Pred's situation. Yeah, it's the break, little intermission, and then you're walking to the backstage and you're just staring Faze down, and then you lose the series. Come on, man. I get it, the mind games and everything, but come on, that annoyed me. That really annoyed me.
I don't think that's when they lost the series though. Because isn't that when they were saying GGs?
Nah, it was.
I think Simp that he was looking at. It was
Simp. It was Simp that he was looking at. They won.
Oh no, it was after a map. Yeah, no. But
I think they won the S&D.
He was looking at his scoreline through his screen on things. He looked at his stats and he just looked.
Nah,
at the same time, you're saying it's embarrassing, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I like. I don't think you should only have that energy when you win.
Yeah, no. I think it gives.
When you've won the series, like, you doing that halfway through the series, it's more believable to me because you can still lose. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, exactly.
That when it was like they've won and they're going to say GGs and he's doing that, it's like, come on, man. But if you're doing it mid-series, that's what creates all the hype. Clayster does it all the time. How many times that man has butted at someone and lost the series?
I think that's.
Do you know what's hilarious about that as well? I've seen on YouTube Breaking Point do a compilation of like players that shit talk and then it just turns around. That actually is a great idea.
I think that adds,
because a lot of players get found out.
I think that adds.
At the end of the day, whether found out or not, we need that in the league. We need the shit talk. We need the friendly competition. All of that. Because at the last two titles, they've been a bit stale. Like I don't want to just hear Draza shit talking for LA Thieves. Like that's boring. And the thing is, it's gonna become distasteful. Like I feel like I enjoy the shit talk now from Draza because I think he knows he's in the best team in the league. So he's going to continue until the whole season's finished. Like, he knows he can up his shit talk even more because of the fact that he's playing with the arguably three best players in the league.
Yeah, exactly. He's got. If you can't shit talk in his position, when can you?
Yeah, exactly.
With these players around you, if you can't do it now, you'll never be able to do it.
You'll never be able to.
Advantage right now. Take full advantage. But yeah, it is nice to see. I want to see more teams just get loud and just get passionate because the storylines are.
I think that's the most important word you use there. It's the use of storylines. I know we're using hashtag storylines with pretty much everything that goes on with the Twitter handle, with the Too Good cast. But I think when you look at how things can be like looked at or remembered with future law in mind, you want to be able to go back to, oh guys, do you remember this happened in Major 2, or effectively why somebody might react some way to another player at a later point in the future, or maybe the next title be like, no, I got my get back now. And then you kind of just have that element of origin, which I find, I guess with the CDL, because I've only been able to watch probably since maybe Vanguard, but the number of storylines even since then have been quite interesting to say the least. So I think definitely, I think for an esport to grow, you need to have characters, you need to have personality. I know there's obviously the other stuff that goes on there, but I think from an entertainment perspective and being able to get people more involved with the sport across the spectrum of ages that do watch, you need to have personalities, man. Nobody wants to think of it as, and I mean this with all due respect, like there are a lot of Warzone streamers or creators and top players that are literally robots. They are in front of their screen and they are just shooting gunny, there is nothing like, there's no element of personality there, and like obviously they're earning a lot of money. They don't care, right? But I think if you want people to effectively pick up your game and try it themselves and effectively get into the competitive scene, you want to have a bit of personality about it. So I think that yeah, if anybody is watching that wants to get involved in esport, be yourself, man. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, it's worth
Do
it.
you, man?
But yeah, that kind of wraps up like just how the major went.
Yep.
I mean, just put a bow on it. Memorable memories forever, because it's just great stuff to watch. But obviously, as you know, every time there's a major, Twitter goes into discourse and controversial mode. Where everyone just starts throwing out takes, and you know, drama pops up on the TL. Rostamania happens. So of course, because of when we're doing this podcast, we have caught some of it.
Yep.
Which we get to talk about today. One interesting thing that was circulating Twitter and internet space and Reddit was X made a take before this major. He made two takes actually. He said two things, and of course they're both about OpTic, which makes sense. He's obsessed. But he basically said Shotzi is not a superstar.
Okay.
He made a very definitive statement. Shotzi is not a superstar. He then went on to say that all of OpTic gets worse or don't get any better from online to LAN, apart from Pred. Statistically, people didn't believe him at all. Like, not in the slightest. Lo and behold, after this major, it actually proved his point. I think Pred's the only one that actually went positive, and I think Kenny and Dashi were like around the same, and Shotzi got worse. And it was like everyone thought he was crazy, and then like he put that out, and he put up some like a meme that was just so trolly, like, of course I'm right, like whatever. So I think I wanted to just firstly ask, like, what makes a Call of Duty superstar in your eyes? Like, what does that?
I think it's consistency. I'm gonna use SIMP and ABEZY as leverage here.
Yeah.
I would call SIMP and ABEZY superstars, and what they portray being superstars is everyone has rubbish games and everyone has good games, but in your season you need to pick up like an MVP at some point, or pick up a major at one point, or if you win a series, you was the standout player. Everyone on your team played well, but you stood out the most. And then on top of that as well is obviously winning champs. And I think SIMP and ABEZY have done that for like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, getting second constantly is, you know, lack of ice. And I totally understand that, right? But you can't disregard the fact that ABEZY and SIMP have been the most consistent subs in the last 4 or 5 years. When ABEZY was at E United. Well, no, ABEZY and SIMP were at E United, right? Yeah, right. So there you go. So they've been consistent from then. Because I know, like, was E United 2019, 2020? I'm on.
I've been
before that.
Was it before? Well, that proves my point even further. It's just the fact that every year they are consistent. Going back to Shotzi now with this whole superstar thing, I think. I wouldn't consider Shotzi a superstar because I haven't seen enough consistency from him. Like, when the casters are constantly like giving that premium gas, you're like, oh, I'm actually tired of hearing this guy's name. He's just popping off every single time. That's what I'm looking for in a superstar player. It's just like, even when your team's not doing the best, you're still putting up numbers individually, and that's what SIMP kind of portrays. That's what players like Celian portray. You know, your team's not doing the best, but individually you are still popping off. That is superstar kind of status there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my take on that. I would conclude and say Shotzi is not a superstar at the moment, but there is potential. His ceiling is high.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I think you get there eventually. But
I like that at the moment phrase. Quite key. What do you think, Dima? Superstar caliber, you think he's just missing something? Is he there yet?
You know, it kind of goes with, and I always look at this like it's kind of similar to like the world class debate we have on football and or soccer, if you guys are watching from the States, and you have to have a level of consistency, like Warren said, where you're able to perform in both good and bad circumstances. If I'm looking at it from a perspective of Shotzi, I just feel it's like he has superstar quality. It's like saying you know that on a good day, you know exactly what you're gonna get, and you get one of the best in the league for what he can do. But then on the off day, it's bad, and it's in the terms of obviously how he's performed in this major too. It's been quite impactful, but in a negative way. I just think when it gets to that point, like the superstars or the world class players, they tend to still like I won't say contribute, because I feel like he still contributes, but they still are able to perform to a standard that is able to aid the team. If not necessarily, I don't think it would be like a blowout in that sense, but still in terms of meeting the objectives of the team. So I think in that, I can't call him a superstar, but I think it's up to him. I think that's something that now he doesn't. I probably don't even think he cares too tough about the tag of being labeled one or not. But I think it's something that he will then. It's almost like he now has that chip on his shoulder of, okay, this is now happened. I didn't like the way that the games against Faze went. I need to figure something out. I need to work on something. Again, that is up to him, because if you look at the performance of the other three, Dashi, Bread, and Kenny, like they didn't seem to do too much of a foot wrong, and unfortunately it just means that, you know, there's a lot more work to do. But that's what superstars do, man. They don't rest. So if he finds a way to, you know, work on that and ultimately communicate with the others in regards to how they feel they can, you know, help aid that progress, then by all means, that's what teams do. So that'll be my take on it.
I wanted to add as well, I hope that people don't call Shotzi a superstar purely because of his flair. Like, do you know what I mean by that? Like the way he plays, like, he's got flair, the movement and everything like that. But that's where I think that's what separates, a bit harsh here, but viewers that watch Call of Duty for that, and then there's the other side of the community where they actually know how Call of Duty or esports, Call of Duty esports is played. That's why I've come up with the take that I did, because you've got flair, but you've got to implement that consistently, you know. So that's what I'm gonna say on that.
This is why I feel like I always have a lot to say about Shotzi, because I think he suffers from people's perception and not actually his role. Like, people will hype Shotzi up for putting numbers, right? Shotzi's role is not to put up numbers. But unfortunately for him, he has done it so much in the past where people now expect him to be a Slayer SMG. That's your job. Yeah? That's not his job. It's not. Like, I don't know, something was changed from when he had Scump to when he had Huke. Obviously, he had a couple of SMG duos, so maybe people have kind of lost what Shotzi's meant to do for this team.
Yeah.
I don't see Shotzi as a Slayer SMG, even though he can be. It's the same thing with ABEZY. I usually don't. Sorry, not ABEZY, SIMP, sorry. I don't see SIMP as a Slayer SMG, but he can be. But it's the plays. When I say plays, it's the things that win rotations. It's the reasons why certain spawns are blocked. It's the routes that he's taken. It's finding a gap in the enemy's lines. It's being annoying in spawn. So what's been happening with him is, like, a lot of the time right now it just hasn't
worked. Yeah,
it has not been working. And I think, like, literally after that, Frozen Scump stream, when they're doing the breakdown, his whole chat was saying drop Shotzi, and I was like, so half of you think he's a superstar, and the other half of you think he should be dropped. This is how I know you don't understand his role in the team, because there's too much discourse. Like, you don't understand that the type of player he's meant to be. Like, it's not, he's supposed to be dropping, like, going triple positive and that's not what he does. His plays are meant to make everyone's lives a bit easier.
Yeah,
that is what he's meant to do. It's not meant to be an individual performance where it's like at the end of it, you look at the scoreline, oh yeah, Shotzi just did amazing. If that's happening, something is wrong.
Still wrong,
in the camp.
like systematically.
So I'm okay with Shotzi not putting up numbers and having a crazy high KD. He's KD wise, he's actually doing his job. Like, he's going like a 1.0 to 1.45, 05, like, range. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. Like, he goes on any team he goes on, he makes them better. Do you know what I'm saying? He adds something to the team.
Yeah.
But my issue is the inconsistencies in Shotzi. If you call someone a superstar, the inconsistencies have to stop, and you have to get a win.
I think also
whether it's major wins or OpTic have not seen a major win since the opening season of Vanguard.
Right. Yeah.
Opening major of Vanguard. That was the last time they had them. They won Major 1 and they have not won since. And I think their one before that was Black Ops 4. Again, I'm pretty sure it was hosted by OpTic, or it was like Major 1.
Black Ops 4, that's way
Black Ops 4. That's what I'm saying. They have not been winning majors, but they always have a great lineup with at least one or two quote unquote superstar looking caliber teammates. And that is my issue of OpTic. We look at individual talent and we're not looking at the overall performance of the team on a consistent basis against the top 4 teams. So that's like why I also agree, can't call Shots your superstar.
I have a question.
I carried them over that line yet.
I actually have a question and this isn't for us. I think this is more so for the viewers that are gonna watch gonna watch as well. But more, and also those that effectively said that Shotzi needs to get dropped. I think you guys need to determine what what does a superstar do, for one, but more importantly, why would, if you are if you are pro Shotzi, and I think we are all pro Shotzi anyway, but if you are pro Shotzi, what do you think he needs to do as a superstar? I'd like to know if you guys could drop us something in the comment section to kind of give us a bit of direction in that regard, because if you've got half Scump's chat saying drop Shotzi and the other half saying, well, I mean, he's a superstar, you can't drop him. You need to kind of find some sort of, there's got to be something going on there, so but yeah, I'd like to hear you guys in the comment section and see what you guys think, for sure,
because it's definitely going to be opinion based, and
for sure
want to know what other people are thinking.
Facts.
We can't see every second or every minute of every game or everything, so it's nice to have
we tried
other people. We did try,
believe me, Piggy tried.
Piggy tried.
Sure.
Sometimes I gotta go to the toilet and I miss something, I can't help it.
I know,
he's definitely on the cusp. I just think with a bit more, me specifically, I just want to see more consistency against top teams now. That's it. That's really it. And then when they get a dub, it's a major win, then maybe, because he did on Empire, back in 2019, he was superstar caliber. He was. They were getting wins. They won champs. He was doing the same thing. He was attempting the same things he was doing now, but it was working. And as a team, it worked. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not a problem with him. It's just finding the rhythm with the team that he has. And this is why I think Fred is such a key pickup, because I don't think he's had an SMG duo. Scott was amazing. Please, no one don't dispute. Scott was
sounds like Piggy misses him.
I think everybody misses him, to be fair. He's not far, but I'm
seeing him in the league. It's sad, but I think this is the first SMG duo that Shotzi has had since Empire days. Because the hook on Empire and the hook now, slightly different hooks, but it was 5v5. It was a whole thing, man. Come on, this is a whole different
dynamic. For you.
But this for me is the most he has clicked, in my opinion, with a SMG duo, and it's because there's just very, very, very clear understanding. So I don't think this is gonna last forever. I think he can be a superstar, and I think it's just more of a time will tell. Like you guys said, with a bit of time, he's just got to figure out for himself. Like, what
I'm sure he will. He's an intelligent player.
Yeah.
But you just can't be. You can't pop off in qualifiers, have your interviews, talk about you gotta make it harder for the other team, and then LAN comes in and you're performing bad every game. Well, not bad, but it's just like you're not getting better.
Your redeeming moments is like the 1 or 2 bailouts you did for your squad. But overall, weren't there. You're going double negative, and then it's like, oh, he turned it around at the end, and you still lost because.
But you wouldn't like, and that's the thing. Like superstar players, I think I rarely see. If we're using Simp as an example, like I rarely see Simp start off like really, really, really bad and not turn it around. When he starts well. Like he always starts well, and he's consistent throughout the match and series.
I think he's
Shotzi. I just saw too much of inconsistency.
Simp will have a slow start. Yeah,
and
that's across gamers as well. I feel like Simp only really shows like slow games that. Maybe like a S&D or something like that, but it's not really. But overall, I think people just need to think about what they consider a superstar, and what they consider is just a very, very good player. Another little fun controversial topic. Do we think Simp and ABEZY currently right now are the undisputed GOATs in Call of Duty?
No.
Since
Sorry, I had to be.
Since I started watching the esports, I have not seen an SMG SMG players dominate as much
Yeah.
as Simp and ABEZY. Like, it's not like someone's
No,
come and knocked them off their
we won't
pedestal.
take them as we won't take them as an SMG duo because I don't think SMG duos were like highlighted like that back in the day.
Yeah.
I always want to take them as individuals because as an SMG duo, there's not an SMG duo that exists that's better than them. Can't lie. No one's touching them.
Undisputed GOATs.
But
Yeah.
greatest of all time
here
is, like, greatest Call of Duty players of all time.
Yeah, I've got here 2019. Yeah, he won with E United the championship.
He's got 2 chips. Sim's got 2 chips.
He was named
yes,
MVP in the 2020 Call of Duty League Championship. So that's another champs like kind of accolade there. And then ABEZY as well, obviously, won with E United.
Yeah.
Well, it says here highly regarded as one of the top ARs, but I don't know if he's a flex like
Well,
that. This might be wrong, but
he used to use it.
I'm just looking at their accolades, and again, going back to what I was saying, they've consistently every
got
new
9
title
tournament wins since the inception of their careers, and I think 9 tournaments is the stat.
Is that so? Yeah. I'm just
sorry,
curious.
I wasn't meant to cut you off.
Yeah, my fault.
Well, there's that number. I don't know if Warren was still continuing with his point.
Oh, no, I've finished. Do you know what? I was trying to think, like who at the moment has got the most chips championships?
Crim's got about 37, I believe.
Bloody hell!
That's why. That's actually.
Bro, did he just come out the womb and then start playing 37?
No, he played Halo for a little bit. And we didn't do anything crazy in Halo. It wasn't like formal, but the thing is, I got like when we say greatest of all time, I think we start bringing up names. Then we then we start to realize like the comparison here. So we got Crim6, we got the OpTic dynasty, Crim6, Karma, Scump, formal. Then we have Clayster, who's the only other person to win 3 rings outside of OpTic. I think he is. Yeah, Karma's got 3. He's got 3. And so is Crim. Then you have Simp and ABEZY, right? Who, in terms of like, they got 2 each. They came very, very dominant from jump. And over the past 4 years, they have been extremely dominant.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately for them, the COD eras that they are now being compared to,
oh boy,
literally can't win the argument until you are in the league for another 5 years. Like, right now, unless they win another chip, they will continue to be below, in my opinion, anyone that already has 3 rings. Like, you can't put, in my opinion, you can't put Simp and ABEZY above like players that have literally won 3 championship tournaments on multiple teams. Someone like Crim6, someone like Karma, like it's been on multiple teams that they've won chips. Scump, he's got 1. Formal, he's got 1. So I hear it. Then you can start to speak about, okay, well, in Scump's whole career, he's only won 1 chip. And people speak about Scump being the best SMG like in history, right? Or the best Call of Duty player of all time. But you break it down, he's got 1 chip. Like, so then you can. I think there's more of an argument of are they better than like a Scump or a formal. But when you start getting to the Crim6, Claysters, and Karma argument, these are generational talents. They did it over more games. They had more series to win. Like nowadays, you win 4 series and you got a chip. Back then, you had to win like 15 per major to win a chip. Like, but then people would also argue that the skill base now is higher than it was back then. It's like it's harder to win now. But so it's like it's a lot of different factors. You can talk about earnings. Like Simp is the highest earning. Is it Simple? So I think Simp is the highest earning Call of Duty player in history. But their prize pools back then was
that
like
much
half
yeah
of what we get now. So it's like there's so many like factors and arguments for both. But I would personally just bring it down to wins. And I won't say necessarily how dominant your run is, but just like at this point, I think it really just is tournament wins and accolades. That's all you can base off because everything else is so arguable. Whereas that's the only tangible thing I can think of. So like if they win another chip, another champs, for example, and maybe like a couple more majors, I think it's undisputed that they're the GOATs of all time. Like if they literally win champs this year and maybe like one other major, there's nothing you can say. The argument's done. Like, and they would have done it in less time, which would have been even more impressive.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That kind of that's almost like the cherry on top of the icing of the cake.
Yeah.
I just feel like they probably would have been. There would have been a case for undisputed GOATs if they didn't have that second in Vanguard season or Modern Warfare 2. You know, every time Like I think in Modern Warfare 2 as well, they got like second.
Yeah,
You know?
it's been a thing for a while.
That's probably why I probably wouldn't put them in Undisputed Goats, because the Goats would show up. Like if I was in their shoes and I'm seeing that I'm getting second, I'm gonna go all out to try get a first place, you know, which could solidify me as like, you know, greatest of all time or whatever. But I just think Modern Warfare 2 and Vanguard, like coming second so many times is a bit kumsa, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard. But I will say they are the closest. SIMP, ABEZY, and Cell are the closest to anything of a dynasty, most dominant, goated trio, or SIMP and ABEZY goated duo that we have. Like everyone else is so far behind, in my opinion, that if we was to have another dynasty team, if we was to have a goat that's not, you know, Crim 6, or to knock somebody else out, whether it's Formal or Scomp, of that conversation, they are the closest two players in the entire league to doing that, which is why it's so interesting, because they're still very early in their career, in my opinion. Like by the end of their career, 100% they could be
100. Yeah, and I don't think we would get anything as close to SIMP and ABEZY again when their time's up. I think they're really gonna set the bar so high that whatever records and stuff that you lot set are not going to be broken, or or the accomplishments you guys got in your career, it's going to be hard to try to surpass that.
Yeah,
you know? SIMP won champs in his first year of competing in the CDL.
I think I watched that.
Wasn't even CDL, CWO. It doesn't make sense.
World League,
you just qualified because of your age, and you win champs.
That's a child prodigy right there, boy.
One of the biggest reasons why they won. He came and he was just. I have never seen a player take over. Like none of the Gwyn's been playing great. Lynn's been pretty decent. Like there's other rookies right now. You're like, oh, you're actually playing really well. None of them were like SIMP, and none of them were like ABEZY. It's like they're freaks of nature, which is why it's really exciting. But I do think people need to just relax, because
just a little bit.
For people that's like a lot of the people are showing that they only started watching the CDL when the CDL was formed. Like we have a whole history. I mean, small plug, but if you haven't, seen my video on YouTube,
please do.
CDL crash course, and where we go from
up to date.
We go from Major League Gaming. I talk, I take you through the ages. If you want to go watch that, please feel free. It's
very good watch.
People need to take into consideration who they're talking about. Like, you gotta put some respect on people like Crim6 and Karma, man. 3 rings on different teams. So be quiet back to them, man. Their man have been on 2 different dynasties. What?
They got some really big rings.
We're a couple years away from this conversation, in my opinion. But I did think it was interesting, and I think a lot of people have good reasons for and against, like whether it's true or not. Which again, I think we would all love to hear, in the comment section what your guys' reasons are for either or. But yeah, we'll see. They're gonna be good talents to watch moving forward.
Amen.
As great as they've already been.
We might come back here in a couple of years and be like, well, that happened.
We can say.
Yeah.
And then another interesting thing. I don't know if you guys saw all of the craziness that was happening on Twitter, but the Draza and Scrap storyline has officially been cemented, and for the rest of the year, that's going to be a rivalry to watch.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna say on that is that's just good to see in it. Like I know it's friendly competition at the end of the day. Like that's what I want though. Like it would be cool to see someone try pipe up to Celium like that, because then I think we'll get a Super Saiyan God Celium if someone actually tried to call him out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like it, but I wasn't tapped in too much. When there's like drama and stuff, when obviously their spouses got involved, everything like that, I kind of just tapped out. I was there up to the point when Scrap and Draza were going back and forth. And then when their spouses got involved, I'm just like, I can't be bothered anymore. I'm just...
It was a bit like, alright guys, I do like you're passionate because it's your spouse and you're going to defend them, but I think it's just the nature of the way people argue now. It wasn't about the game. It wasn't an in-game.
Nothing about the game.
She wasn't about the game at all.
This is a very personal thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you lot are arguing about something completely different. I personally are going to pay more attention to Scrap and Draza talking in-game performance and accolades. That's more interesting. All the other stuff, it was entertaining though. I'm not going to lie to you. And if that's what is fueling the flames, then cool. Like, if we're getting more heat on stage because, you guys actually have, real beef and you got to prove it in game, that's good for us. But in terms of, spouses getting involved and taking it all personal is a bit corny for me.
It's a bit mad still.
It's not that deep. I can't lie. It's not that deep.
It's even some of the, like, I mean, I don't know everything because obviously I was only able to tab in with what Piggy was looking at per se. However, I think like if it's just like I guess the men in this one and just looking at how they both performed at Major 2 and why they would be down each other's throats, by all means have at it. Storylines, you have somewhat a mutual respect for each other as competitors, and you know that can be left there. But what, like, I just think when like you said, like when spouses or partners are involved and it's now becoming collateral damage in a sense, it's, you know, I would rather not, you know, but hey man, if it creates a storyline or two, hey man, the trophy at the end of the season will be that much sweeter. You can rub it in whoever's face.
I'm here for it, but it's just there's a threshold, isn't it?
There's levels. Yeah,
it's like
they passed that threshold.
Yeah, it's like they went a bit over, and it's like, okay, cool. As long as you don't go further than that, and you bring it down a little bit, then this is what I want for the rest of the year.
Dial it back.
Type of thing on, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, for example, when Draza did his video of him like just splashing his money and was talking about Scrappy, and like he's worked his whole life for a champs moment, and he got there and he got 5-0'd. Like, are you not embarrassed? Like, you can't even, you're not even making flipping. You know, he was like, I'm not even seeing you in a major. Like, you went home early. Like,
oh dear God.
I love it. Yes, bring it back. Bring back real passion and rivalry.
Yeah, man.
But, so yeah, it is cool.
That could be an inadvertent motivator as well. Like, literally, it will push.
I think Scrappy's going back, preparing for the Toronto major. Like, I'm not losing to this kid. Like,
homie's probably not getting any sleep. I hear it, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good for moving forward. But I just bring that up to say, like, there's a lot of esports and that exist, different games. And I think that I personally want people to see COD for being one of the most entertaining, because these are real people. These players are not robots. They actually have thoughts, they have feelings, and they will talk about it. A lot of esports, it feels like they just play the game, they're good, and then that's all you know about them. That's all you get from them. Like, there's no other opinion. And I think in Call of Duty stems from this type of drama. Like, this is what it came from. Like, it's become so professional and died down now, but it's nice to see people bring that back. And just let that shine through, because it makes it more entertaining for us to watch. And so for some matchups, if you don't have a favorite, like, it's like, why do you care? But then you might see like one team play who we don't see play, but you like one of the players because they get kind of loud and it's interesting. So you're like, yeah, let me watch this. It's always quite hype. That's why people love Claystar. Any team he goes on, people watch that team because Clay's on it, so you know he's gonna be chatting. So I just think it's good for the scene, as so long as it's kept to a certain degree.
It's the little things, isn't it? It's the little things that attracts you towards the league, attracts you towards the player, the orgs, the franchises. Because with Celium, his slogan in Vanguard was "No free kills." I was like, oh really? No free kills? Yeah, okay, all right. We'll see if you're no free kills.
About that,
so I grew to like that because of the what do you call it? Like the ego. Do you know what I'm saying? So
exactly. And he does it in a different way. He's not like the stand up and shout at you, but he'll shoot your body.
You shoot your body.
Put 3 down. Or say, yeah, you could do it too. Face up. Like he's cheeky, and everyone's got like their own charm with it. Which again, like, you'll like different players for different reasons. Like, some people will hate Draza, other people will absolutely love him. Same thing with Scrap. Same thing with if Pred keeps getting a little loud, it's gonna be the same thing with him. So
yeah,
we just need more of it, and I personally welcome it. I think we all do. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. It's just something to look out for, guys. Like, every time you see Faze and Ultra, pay a little bit more attention to that, and Faze and OpTic as well. Because right now, Draza has CEO of OpTic in his bio. That one's got to get dealt with. I hope Pred's looking like, okay, we need to deal with that one.
Yeah, we need to dial that one back too, boy.
Put that in his whole bio,
All right, buddy.
Like, I'm not the biggest Draza fan, but I can't. I'm hit for it.
You gotta take the shit talk. You know what I mean?
Talk your ish.
Takes a pioneer to start everything off, guys. Just watch. Now, I guarantee the next major, the qualifier, watch. Shit's gonna happen.
And I hope it encourages people coming from challenges if they do get a CDL spot at any point, can keep that energy.
Yeah, man, come with personality.
There's a lot of challenger like players that actually have that fire in them, and sometimes they get to the CDL and it kind of goes out a little bit. Keep that, because that's what's going to set you apart from other like players in the league.
I felt that.
Yeah. Moving on swiftly. We do have a little bit of Roster Mania drama, thank goodness, because I feel like we usually miss it. Like we usually do the podcast and then stuff after.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, oh my days, all these like stuff going on the TL and people getting dropped and picked up, and we're like, oh, we just did a podcast. Like, but this time we do have a couple that have already been announced and defined. And the first one, I'm gonna just start with like the most, I won't say shocking, but just like the biggest one for me is RCE's being dropped from Seattle Surge.
Well, I mean, the reason why
I think it was a map.
Yeah,
to be honest, I'll be real.
I feel like obviously like we spoke about this at the very like probably the first CDL podcast we ran on the channel, and we were like, this is an opportunity for RCEs to somewhat like get rid of all of the, I guess, heat on him that's been obviously there pretty much since he left Faze. Just like anyone else on Seattle Surge, it's more or less like a redemption arc and show us what you guys can really do. And I think for the best part, I think qualifiers, I didn't have a problem with him. I think he did all right in terms of the first qualifiers, but I think that's as good as it got. That's where the problem is. I know Warren obviously will speak on it more efficiently, but I think that's not a shock to me now. I mean, in terms of how they performed this major. And obviously where I say that they were really missing Illy, that kind of tells you why are we not seeing more from RCEs if somebody like Illy is not about, you know? And evidently I know we can talk about Brezzy and we can talk about Hook, but I think when you've got somebody that has got championship quality, like we've seen him win titles, you'd expect more. So I'm not like, based on the performance, I'm not surprised. But yeah, that's not a shock to me at all, like you said.
Do we think this will be the only change in Seattle? Well, obviously he's going to get replaced, but do we think he's going to be the only one dropped?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not.
Drops as well. Do you know what? At this point, they might as well just flip the whole roster. Like,
no,
RCEs, like just flip the whole roster. Just do a whole new.
No.
Like on a real, because you're taking out good players. Like that team at the beginning was good. Like even the replacements they're bringing in, they know more than me. So they've done more research and challenges than I have. But this is just from a viewership point of view. Yeah. I don't think there's any players in the challenges. Well, no, that's a very well take. But I truly think that the 4 players in that Seattle team are still better than the majority of players in challenges. Like I don't see, like as weird as Hugh is sometimes. I don't think that when Hugh does enter flow state, someone can surpass him on that kind of level. Do you know what I'm saying? Because Hugh looks like one of the best players in first state, like in the league.
And you know what?
He looks scary.
He played very well. As bad as that team was, I'm not gonna lie, they were terrible, and then he played one series. I'm pretty sure. Didn't they start? They started losers. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
They started losers.
He actually played well. He actually had good maps. Like Hugh was fighting, and it was like you're seeing it in a team that obviously, and this is why I really like Hugh as a player. You can see when someone has given up on their team, and sometimes it makes sense why. Like with what's going on with Seattle Surge, I'm surprised that any of those players had any fire
in them. Yeah.
So when I see someone like Hugh play like that, to like you wouldn't even know anything was going on. He's just playing like playing for his team. He's playing at his best capabilities. His attitude is good. Like he deserves a spot in the league, in my opinion. He just like I still think he deserves to be there. I don't know if it's on that team though, but I don't think Hugh is the problem.
Nah, not from what I've been able to watch.
But I could see like from other players, it just didn't seem like there was much give, man. There was just nothing. They got nothing left. Hashtag Ian Bill got nothing. But I have a wild. I'm gonna throw a shot in the dark, right? I haven't watched a lot of challenges, but I do know of a few players that have been in the challenger circuit that were pro players before, who are just waiting for that opportunity. And one of them, in my opinion, who I think we're going to see in the league again, is Gunless.
Gunless, yeah.
I think Gunless is coming back. He literally, so basically,
hold on, I just need to
Gunless's, yeah, do you think Gunless's challenges team just won Major 2 for challenges, right?
Nice.
They had to beat FaZe Black, which had Joe Deceives.
Yep, who recently
just got
left.
picked up
Yeah.
by LAT. So this is what's interesting to me because it's like you've now won because like he's been in challenges, he's been doing well, but he hasn't really. I don't think he's been winning like over and over again. There's other like rookie play because people have been saying like a rookie player who has potential is more appealing to an org than a ex-pro player who's just doing well.
Yeah.
Like people for some reason like the unknown variable. They want to pick someone who's like new, young, and has potential, like the Snoopies, like the Gwins.
Yeah.
They have like a superstar new player. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than going back to somebody who's been in a league and went and dropped challenges.
Yeah.
They look at them like a dead horse, like, oh, it didn't work, right? So
yeah.
Gunner's been suffering, in my opinion, from that because he's been in the league and he dropped out. He wasn't like winning every challenges flipping major, so there was no reason to really pick him back up.
Yeah.
After he's won that one, and these teams are looking for changes, like people getting dropped left, right, and center. I need to see Gunners. I need to see him one more time. The same way I think RCEs needs to go to challenges now and just reinvent himself.
Yeah, like
Gunners did that. And I think Gunners deserves a spot back in the league to show what he's done with that time. And if it doesn't work, then cool. Leave him out for good then. Maybe retire. But I think he deserves an opportunity here. Because Gunners is... Oh, that... like, I don't know what happened to him when he was on Chicago, OpTic Chicago.
Oh.
Because he was him, like... It was like a very brief moment. He got dropped, like, pretty quickly. Like, but he was really good. It was like him, Scump, Formal, Envoy, Gunners. I'm pretty sure that's 5. My maths?
Yep.
Can't Formal, Envoy, Gunners. And there's one more. I've missed somebody. But anyway. Well, it was 4v4. I did get it. So yeah, he just had a long stint on that team. I can't lie. So just naturally, he just went back to challenges. But people who haven't been like watching from however long ago, they might not know how good Gunners actually is. But he's like when he was around, he was a superstar player. He was in like Rise Nation, and he's like the teams that he's won with, and like the amount of stock value that he had for those teams. That man not being in the CDL right now is stupid, in my opinion. And it's just purely based on maybe he doesn't have enough connections with players anymore. People just look at him like he's just washed when he's not. But it's like, if he comes back and it's the Gunners from old, just before he left, he makes any team better. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not saying if he comes back and he's a bit shaky at first. I'm saying if he's in form, there's not a lot of teams you don't put that man on. If any. Maybe just not Faze. I want to touch Faze. But I'm just like, that's another unknown thing. Like, when you look at challenges, like, there's a lot of players that could come and you can put them together and they could really do something special. But it's just up to the orgs to know how to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if I'm Seattle Surge, I'm looking down at the challenges. I don't know what happened with Illy. RC's put out a very cryptic tweet when he got dropped. And he atted Illy. And it is a GIF of a grave that says "boo" on the tombstone and a ghost. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a hey, you wanna do something? Or I don't know if it was an indirect shot. Like, so well, I don't know. I don't know if he was put on a muzzle when he was on Seattle Surge, and it's like, okay, now I'm off the team. I can talk. I don't know what that's about, but I'm just saying, like, this whole Seattle Surge fiasco with Illy and trying maybe picking up someone else. I don't think it's the last time we're going to see anything to do with Illy. I think there's something more to that story there, and I'm very intrigued to see what it is. So definitely look out for that one. But yeah, RC is dropped. Not surprised. He didn't have any chances left, and unfortunate what happened with Illy. But we'll just have to see if he does anything from this point and what it is. Another change. Awakening has now been dropped from Rocker. Big weight.
Yeah,
it's no longer. Yeah, I didn't expect them to do that.
I didn't expect that either.
That was what I thought they would. Well, they're not dropping accuracy. I think accuracy is the CEO of that team. Like, accuracy has
all of that.
Yeah, I don't think you do drop accuracy. I think he brings so much to like any team. It might not even be in the stats, but that's your structure gone. Like,
I feel like if having accuracy as your teammate, you probably learn so much from the game because he's such a good IGL. You know, like when he was at Seattle Surge Vanguard season, when it was him, Matt, Pred, Sib, they looked formidable. Like even when they went up against FaZe or other teams, I'm like, this could go either way. Do you know? I rate accuracy a lot, and I agree with you. I don't think you drop him for anyone.
I do. I thought with them, but clearly they thought. Clearly, their reason behind it isn't. It's not an SMG issue. They probably think Lens and Vivid is all fine, and they're looking at the ARs, and it's like, well, out of accuracy and awakening, who do you drop? Even though I still don't agree with it. Maybe it just came down to that. Like, I don't know what, but I think awakening is too good to
leave on the
be out of this video. He needs to be in the video on somewhere. So I do hope he stays. I don't know if maybe RCEs gets dropped to the Surge, or Awakening gets dropped from Rocker. I don't know if they pick up Awake. I don't know. But another one to look out for. Another of so many chains, not that deep. Journey got fully released from Heretics. Like, he wasn't on the starting lineup for Major 2. But they've actually now let him go fully, not on the bench or anything like that. And it's what I think me and Maureen were saying before. Maybe it's like a structural reconfiguration with Heretics that's happening now, because clearly they want to invest in players. So it's not like they're just making willy-nilly changes here and there. They're actually thinking quite a lot about who to keep and who to drop. So I think now they're going to start restructuring things, whereas before I think they were just like investing in a player to go and learn something and then come back. I don't think they're going to be doing that moving forward, because they just don't have time for it. So yeah, Journey fully released. So I feel like probably going to see some people get dropped.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if we don't. And then we'll just have to see what they do moving forward.
I think obviously from a perspective of it being a week past the we're just one weekend from the previous major as well, and there's going to be a lot of time. I would say there's a lot of time. There isn't a lot of time, but they effectively have to go through this protocol now in order to kind of still compete at a reasonable level, but also try and figure out what they can do now, as opposed to rather waiting until last minute, not getting enough reps in, not getting enough team chemistry in, and then ultimately you fall under your objectives at the end of it. I do feel like it's a thing where if that bunch have been together since the Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3 days, Black Ops 2 or 3, it's tough, because obviously that's your chemistry in a sense, and I don't know if Jenny was too much of a focal point, but considering I think he did say he sat out this series, or this major, you'd like to think they were probably trialing an error to see how well the other players do play with the new player. So if this is effectively a step in a different direction for them, then I'd like to think that foreseeably they're looking at other possibilities to kind of see how well the team can operate at that level, and obviously to improve in performance, because this is again their first two majors back from a long hiatus. So but yeah, definitely nice to see some activity, I guess, from that from that scope of things. Obviously I'd like to see more, but I think it's kind of the same. Like, I know LA Thieves did their thing in regards to getting all of that done before Major 2, and you were able to kind of see to an extent how they can perform much too soon, obviously, but not to say that there wasn't anything honorable or commendable about their performance in a sense. So they'll take their positives, and I think Miami are going to probably look at that. Sorry, Heretics are going to probably look at that and think, you know what, that although it's going to be a process, it's definitely one that's worth taking a risk on. So yeah, man.
I think drastic changes are needed the further along you go in the year. They tried the slow up approach, and now it's just like they got to really make something happen now, like something drastic.
Yep.
I think the only other WrestleMania news that we have as well is the fact that Afro is now benched and Jonas Heaves has been picked up.
You see that okay, right. Now I find that I can't be the only one that thinks that's weird. Like, not okay, maybe not so much weird, but like it's so quick to see how things change, and obviously kind of seeing that he was dropped initially and now he's being picked back up again. There must be something that we are not aware of, or maybe that I didn't notice, that is clearly what they're after.
Yeah.
I think it's Afro's decision making, because when I was watching Thieves, there were a lot of times that Afro in quotation marks, made a couple brain dead plays.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that had a part to play, because Jodeci is kind of, when he first came onto the scene, well, I mean, like Call of Duty League, like the main stage and that, he was just like, he was so cracked. He just made the right decisions. He actually made a name for himself the moment he was integrated into the league.
Yeah.
The thing is, I truly believe that Jodeci is probably a better SMG than Afro.
Okay.
I feel like Afro just does a little too much. Like, Afro reminds me of like Anthony. For those that don't know football, Anthony is right winger that plays for United. It's like Afro would just do these silly things, and I'm just thinking, dude, you didn't need to do that, or you could have just composed yourself in this situation.
Just throw his life away sometimes a bit too much.
Yeah, so I think that how he played in Major 2 may have had a part to play in the rest of the change.
No, I thought that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's also like Jodeci's played like a, I guess, a period, like a term. I don't know what to call it in this circumstance, but he's played a period in challenges with Faze Black. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's one of them ones where you've now kind of, I don't think it will take too much it won't be too disheartening in regards to dropping down there, because obviously he's still somewhat getting a competition that I think he needs in order for him to improve anyway. And obviously, based off of how things went off Major 1 and much to his disappointment, he can now, that's a storyline for him. You've been dropped, you've been brought back up. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, it's like it has to work. It has to work with you now, or else
it's not gonna. Yeah.
I have a question though. I am wondering, do they make this change if they beat FaZe? If they win that first matchup and they don't lose 3-2, they win 3-2.
I think they probably still. I think they might. I think
50-50.
I think they probably. I feel like maybe because it's tough, because obviously I look at it from a whole, as opposed to maybe the one matchup, and obviously I don't know how Afro performed in all cases, and obviously I don't even know how he performed in qualifiers. I didn't watch LA Thieves, but I'd like to think if there was like a clear, like if there was a distinct period where they felt Jodeci will just perform better and probably works better for the team in certain scenarios, then I think they still would have gone on with it. At least from a perspective, because it won't get any worse. It won't get any worse than how things have already played out here.
Yeah.
So they might look at it from as a. Sorry, you were gonna say?
No, I agree. Sorry.
No, so it's almost like how much, a sense of damage limitation. They already know where they're at with Afro, so it might be worth. They might look at it and be like, okay, we know where this was and we know where we were with Joe, so we might as well go back with Joe and see how if that's now changed. It's a matter of just being. Go on.
Sorry, real quick. When they dropped Jodeci, they also dropped Cammy at the same time.
Yes, that's true.
It wasn't one at a time. I'm pretty sure they dropped both of them, and then they got in nasty.
Nasty. Okay, yeah.
And they got in nasty, and I think Afro was already on the team. No, I think it was Kremp they brought in.
Yeah.
So it was Afro, Ghosty, Cammy, and Joe Deceives.
Right.
And yeah, Joe Deceives gets dropped. Cammy gets dropped. They bring in nasty. They bring in. No, that doesn't make sense. No, they don't.
It does.
I'm losing myself. Yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah, I'm not losing myself. Sorry. Yeah.
Cammy, and they dropped Joe Deceives, which is an AR and sub.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they brought in Kremp, who's a sub, and an AR in nasty.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Piggy. I got you.
I was going mad. But yeah, cool. So they didn't ever give Joe Deceives a chance to play with somebody else after they dropped Cammy. It was like, yeah, we drop you both, and then bring in 2 new guys, and then it's like, okay, but how would the Joe Deceives have played with somebody like Nasty, or how would he have played with like that a different type of sub duo?
Yeah.
Who's playing with now him and Ghosty? It's like they didn't really give him in my opinion, this is a team that is still that is actually actively trying to figure out. They're moving individual pieces now to see where they went wrong. Like they needed to make a double change, but now they're like, were we too dramatic with it? Did we only need to drop one player? Is Joe Deceives okay? And then now they're bringing him back in. And I think if this doesn't work, they'll just continue to go through that process. I think they know Ghosties plays fine. Like Ghosties, I think solidified on that team. He's the best player on the team. But I think they're building around him. And the way Nasty's been playing, Nasty's actually been playing pretty well. So I feel like Nasty's position on that team is, so long as he continues, is safe.
Solidified.
And then I think it will just be a Joe Deceives change. Like, do we keep him? Do we get somebody else in? Or do we leave there? Same thing with Cramp. I don't think Cramp has been bad either. So I think they're getting close. They're probably the closest team that's been making changes to finding some consistency now. I just think it's just like a one player like difference that it's gonna make. So hopefully this lineup is gonna work for them.
Hopefully this is the one.
As a player, I think he's quite an explosive player in the team. So
yeah,
I hope it works out for them, but also for Ghosty, you know, we all got a little bit of love for Ghosty.
Yup.
Sad. So it's like a pinch. It's like a pinch of love. A pinch.
It's because he did so well. It's more so like his performance.
Yeah.
So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Lots of changes. And I do think there's going to be more roster changes moving forward.
Oh, 100%. And you'll be able to...
This team, like, Rocker obviously hasn't replaced Awakening. So, like, there's teams that need to be...
rejigged.
Ironed out.
Yeah, for sure.
For the first match. So, it's going to be...
I mean, there's quite a while. I think the next major is not for another... When are we looking now? Because we got another set of... We've still got another set of qualifiers, right?
Yeah, because we got a little bit of a break for qualifiers. I think it's like a 3-week break from the time that the major finished.
All the pros are playing rank play right now to get
April 12th.
April 12th. Okay, so that's literally that's just under 2 weeks. That's left over 2 weeks. Yeah. They're back at it again.
They got some time to get it together.
I mean, if there is any, I think if there's any roster mania that happens between now and then. Which we're more likely to find out will probably be all over the timeline. So do make sure to follow at the Too Good Cast, where you'll be able to catch up with stuff like that. And yeah, man, I think the shaping of this next qualifier is actually going to be quite interesting to say the least. I'm hoping, I can't give up on my boys just yet. But I'm hoping Boston give me something to celebrate. Just give me just a little something. You know what I'm saying? Because the point system now, obviously on this thing is looking a bit different. It's looking a bit it's looking a bit better for me now.
At this point,
it's looking a bit better for me now. I mean, I'm saying, but
I mean, you only got 50 points. You gotta get 20 points and then you're even.
Give him my 20.
You talking about Boston?
Yeah, because we're both on 70. He's Breach is on 50.
Give him my 20. Well, to be fair, I need more than 20 because you guys are gonna get me above these guys. Thank you very much, Boston.
Time for you lot, because hopefully your whole team is staying together. Our teams have definitely made changes or making changes. Like it's definitely happening. So in that reconstruction time, this is Breach's moment.
Hey, Breach.
To
gotta do the thing.
Get some points under their belt.
Gotta do it now. Gotta do it now, man. Shit.
And try and get something going here, but it's going to be interesting following this further. We do have a tier list that we need to do at some point in the next coming weeks. Just to rejig some of these teams. It's going to probably look very different.
So the last one, for sure.
Season tier list, which I'm actually excited for. And we have a lot to go off this time, so.
Yep, no, for sure.
But briefly, just want to say, our bracket predictions so much better.
Hey, listen, that first one, I might have been like 5 cans of Red Bull deep. Maybe, a little sleep deprived for sure. High off of the caffeine in there.
It was unpredictable though. You should cut yourself some slack. Like,
oh no.
Like the thing is, we never expected Rocker to come out guns blazing the way they did. We didn't expect subliners to crash out in losers the way they did. Do you know what I mean? So it's just major 1. You got to get the jitters out the way. And then look at major 2 now. The top 4 teams ended up making it top 4. So
look at Warren defending. And
that's what we predicted as well. We all predicted that it would be Ultra, subliners, Faze, Texas.
We also predicted.
We got that right.
Yeah, we got quite a few.
Predicted a grand finals of
OpTic Faze.
That went crazy. But losers.
I can't lie, that losers one, like, even the way it does play out, I'm just there looking at it thinking, like, how does it, But
put a lot of respect on teams as well because
only
3 O's in there.
Nah.
Carolina 3-0'd Vegas. No, they didn't 3-0 them. They 3-0'd someone.
They
I think it was Vegas.
No.
Hold on. I've actually come off.
Was that a blow? It was 3 or 3-1.
3-1.
But yeah, but the major two has given so much insight to the teams and whatnot. So now when we do our next prediction, I feel like I have more of an understanding of, you know, who's gonna do what.
Yeah.
Who
Like
are the standout
what
players.
modes people are good at as well. Because like when we were doing it, it was hard to remember like what modes everyone's like better at.
Yeah.
So like you can say more if it's going to be a 3-1 or 3-2 if you know there's a hard point team, like a hard point heavy team versus like a really good team at control and search. You know, like maybe what maps they might win and whatnot. But it's hard to do it when we don't have all that info. But now,
of course,
we're seeing like teams like OpTic getting better at search, but they're losing their way a little bit in like control. So maybe like the scoreline might be a bit. So like little things like that is gonna help us like moving forward. But
no, for that, sure. But
proud of us, man.
It's it's progress. I like the progress in a short period of time.
We're showing signs of improvement.
hey,
thanks.
Now I'm saying, for sure.
Thanks. Wait. That is major 2. Miami wrapped up. And, major 3 all to look forward to. As well as another podcast. We won't talk too much about it. Our next one is gonna be a banger.
Yeah, so if you guys are locked into all things TooGoodCast, we will be having a live podcast episode over on twitch.tv/TeamOTooGood, where we'll be looking at all things season 3 for Warzone. And I'm not going to tell you what's returning because you guys probably already know what that is by now. But we've got a hell of a roadmap to have a look at, but please lock in, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure you guys will enjoy that episode. And links will be in the description for that specifically. But from here and from all of us here at the TooGoodCast, Piggy, Warren, I appreciate you guys for your time again. My subject area experts, because this is definitely an area that I am not an expert at, but I love it nonetheless. I appreciate you guys for real. That'll be the end of this episode. But yeah, peace.
Peace up.
Later.